Fucking crap, Mecca Knights, and all you wrestling fans out there. I'm very, very, very excited about this Mack cast because
that's 3 varies, Mac. That's a lot of varies.
That explains how excited I am. Right there, 3 varies, because not only do I have trainee number 1 sitting on the side of me, trainee, of course, I'm going to leave the introduction to you because I suck at it, apparently. I'm not good at introducing the guests. Apparently, I know nothing about them. I only seen them a few times inside the ring and out. But here is my favorite tag team partner in the whole entire world, trainee number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are glad to be here once again in Scott Levesque's log cabin home. I believe I call it the log cabin studios these days, where we're hanging and banging with none other than Kris Pyro. Ladies and gentlemen, former tag team champion, from a current world heavyweight champion.
If that's what you want to call it, yes.
Yeah,
world heavyweight champion.
Heavyweight champion. We'll cut the world out.
The heavyweight
Fairhaven champion of Fairhaven.
The Fairhaven champion. NECW TV champion for over a year, undefeated.
Whoa.
NECW tag team champions. They made me relinquish the NECW TV title, and I still wanted to do both, but they wouldn't let me.
And I believe you, you son of a bitch. I'm dropping it right there. You defeated trainee number 1 for the ACW Interstate Championship. That bad boy had that belt for so goddamn long, and you had to just come in the promotion and screw it all up for him.
It's not my fault. Whoever was in charge at the time, the decision-making man.
I was training that guy for months. For months to keep that belt, and you just came in and easily defeated him.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if it was easily defeated him. But we got Kris Pyro in the house.
Live.
One half of the Hoods. With a D-A. Capital letters. I don't know. But Kris Pyro, I just want to say thank you for coming down.
No, thank you guys for having me.
No. Thank you for coming down and giving the information to the Mecca Knights around the world, or maybe just in that general area of New England. I'm not sure. There could be some Mecca Knights out there in Africa listening. I don't know. We'll have to check with Training 1 on that one. But before we start it all off, I'm sorry, I'm very excited. I got to get my information out there. It's called the Mack News. And the Mack News that we got is that me and Training 1, Team Mack Attack. Training 1's about to do a shot before I get this info out. That's how excited he is. A shot of good old Jim Beam, because we are still Whaling City Wrestling.
New Whaling.
No, we're still.
They didn't know we won yet, did they?
No, did they?
I don't think so. I don't think they knew yet, man. You didn't break the news yet.
I thought we found out.
Mentioned the Cravecast?
Yeah, we found out on the Cravecast. Peter Crave has his own podcast once in a while. We let him come down and bullshit about wrestling, have a good time. But you fans found out then, but we haven't defended our belts yet. But we are still Whaling City Championships.
I'm sure when you guys defend the belts, you guys will retain. You know?
I am wearing them right now. You don't notice, but it's under my T-shirt.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
In case someone tries to sucker punch me in the gut.
Sucker punch in the gut.
It's not going to happen because it's going to hurt their hands very badly.
Little do you know, but I'm also wearing the WCW Championship under my shirt.
I thought your shirt looked a little bulky.
That's not six-pack abs.
I thought you were working on your abs, to be honest with you. I don't like to jump to conclusions. Hey, I'm French. I'm sorry. It's hard to get them words out sometimes. I've been studying English. But that's pretty much all the Mack news I got. Trainee, do you have anything for him?
I don't have much Mack news, but I want to say in one of the last podcasts we did, we talked about Husky Harris. 2 days later, boom, he's on TV. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, Pyro, you're going to get signed or anything, but if you do, maybe a part of your cut should go our way, is all I'm saying.
That's fine. Hey, if because we are on the podcast and I get signed for some reason, which I don't know why, but if it happens, I'm not a very greedy person. I'll send a cut to you guys, no problem.
You know, Kris Pyro, I really think that this podcast is going to do well, because my first question to you is, have you seen the Monster Mack Show episode, The Interruption Show of Season 2? Have you seen it? It's out there.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I have not seen it.
You son of a bitch.
I have not seen it. But please, inform me. Why is this so important?
No, I'm not going to inform. Not only am I going to inform you, I'm also going to inform the Monster Mack fans out there. If you haven't seen it, check it out. You can go to monstermack.net for all you The Monster Mack Show info. You can check it out there. we got interrupted. I'm not going to go into it because we got you here down in Scott Levesque's log cabin. We're going to jump straight into it, Kris Pyro.
Awesome.
Now, as a child, how'd you first start getting into wrestling? I'm sure as a child you always enjoyed wrestling. Tell me about it.
Actually, my father was into wrestling. And as far as I can remember back, I've always watched wrestling. Like, one of the most distinctive things that my father had, merchandise-wise, that always reminded me that he liked wrestling, he had a WrestleMania 3 hat. It was like
so random.
It really is, but it was like a trucker, like one of those trucker type hats, and it had the WrestleMania 3 logo on it. And I always knew my father was wrestling. My first wrestling show I probably ever went to.
WrestleMania 3, that's Hogan and Andre?
Hogan and Andre, yes, and Steamboat and Savage also.
Of course.
That's what WrestleMania 3's reminded for, is Steamboat and Savage. That was remarkable. Hogan and Andre was the draw. Steamboat and Savage was the match.
They kept
to
them
watch.
there. They kept the people
That's
there.
That's right. But I just remember the first show I've ever went to was WWF at the time, but it was at the Bank Street Armory.
Oh, yes.
And this was like years and years and years ago. I can't even believe that I do remember this, but I do remember a faint memory of sitting in the bleachers right where the entrance was and watching the show. I don't remember much, but I do remember being there.
Now, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one because I don't know if it was the same show that I seen, but was Tatanka there? Because that's the only memory I have of that show was seeing Tatanka.
See, to be honest with you, this was like, I want to say I was really, really young, and I want to say like this is one of the first times I ever seen the Big Boss Man. Like that's how young I was.
Was this around 1992?
Oh man! All right, I was born in '85, so I'm gonna say this was anywhere from like '88 to like '92 era. Yeah,
because
about
I went
that
to
time.
one show at the Bank Street, Marty Jannetty versus Shawn Michaels.
See, no, this had to be
Randy
before that.
Savage versus Razor Ramon. The best show ever.
Now, that was Scott Levesque talking. If you fans don't know, we're in his lovely log cabin. We let him say a piece here and there for let us host a podcast in his log cabin. But Scott Levesque, who did Tatanka wrestle? That's my question.
Don't remember that.
He has no collective memory of Tatanka. But, so, pretty much, how did it all start for Kris Pyro? How did you get into the wrestling business? You're a child who likes wrestling. That's what we know so far.
When did you start thinking, like, wrestling's not just something I like watching? Maybe I think I can do some of these things.
Honestly, I actually never thought that. Okay? And honestly, I
Even
never...
right now, you can't, like, wrestling.
No, I love wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I love wrestling. I shoot to go out there every night and be the top performer. I want to be the thing people remember. That's what I go for. I take the time to go with the fans or whatever it is, but I distinctly remember, getting back to your question, I remember my father actually knew Joe Eugenio, which at the time was the promoter of Yankee Pro Wrestling, which was a big thing in this area. I remember my father started doing the Whaling City Festival, which was actually, Joe Eugenio was the president at the time.
What was your dad doing? Was he like a carny? Like he set up carnival games?
No. See, like, actually the carnival was run by another guy named Mark Finelli, all by himself.
Okay.
But the actual, like, Whaling City Festival, like, the stages for, like, the Fun 107 concerts, the aisles we went through, and, the vendors had all the different merchandise and whatever the case they were selling at the time. My father was just, like, on the board of the committee. He would help Joe do whatever it needed to do, run the soda booths or whatever the case may be. And that's where my father started. And then we were at a show in the back of the Sunshine Plaza in New Bedford, Massachusetts, on the Hathaway Road McDonald's.
That's the one next to McDonald's. I was
right
gonna say.
next to McDonald's. In the very back, before they redid it and we started there again. Like, this was years ago. I want to say this is in the 90s. And Joe came up to my father and asked him, to start doing rings. My father was a big guy. Start doing ring and helping him with the ring at shows. And I could never remember leaving that show excited as a pig in shit because my father was going to start setting up a wrestling ring. I was like, this is the best thing ever. Dad, I want to go. Dad, I want to go.
Can I watch you take
Dad,
the
I
ring
want to
now?
go. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. I never left him alone. And then finally he was like, well, I'm going to go to the first one on myself. I want to make sure it's okay that I bring you. He went to his first show. I want to say it was in Reading, Mass. It was a Silvano Souza / Joe Eugenio promotion type night.
Souza.
Silvano Souza / Joe Eugenio promotion, and he came back, and I was up all night. And when he came back at 1, 2 in the morning, from whatever it was, I was sitting there asking him question after question after question. How was this? How was setting up the ring? What matches were there? I'm a fucking mark. I don't care what anybody says. Hate on me if you will. Get in the ring and try to outdo me if you can. But at the same time, I'm a mark. I love wrestling through and through. Granted, these years I do not watch much wrestling on TV. I'm more of an indie Superman kind of wrestler.
Plus, I'm sure you pop in the occasional old school
right,
DVD.
like, as for instance,
like right now we're watching WrestleMania 12 in the background.
But then again, Shawn Michaels is involved. Shawn Michaels is my idol. Shawn Michaels is the man.
So this kind of all works together. Shawn Michaels. He's number 2 for who? For you?
Calibri. So anyway, disregard the Calibri.
Probably
mark.
the best
anyway.
Iron Man match of all time. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, not Bret. Bret Hart. Even though I'm not a fan, Bret Hart is an incredible wrestler.
Wait a minute. You're not a Bret Hart fan?
Listen, it's God, Mack. All
right. I'm not going to say anything about Bret Hart because that's not what the fans want to hear. They don't want to know. Bret Hart, I enjoy, but I want to know, how did it all start? I'm guessing it was
I'm totally jumping off subject.
Through Joe Genio, was that it?
Yes. Joe Eugenio, the man, the pumpkin man himself.
Is he you in there?
So anyway, listen, this is how, let me not jump over things and go into crazy detail because we'll be here for 4 hours doing this podcast. But I'm sorry, I have too many stories, and now I've had a little bit of the captain. That's what happens. I'm standing here, literally, do people know, but I'm standing here with one leg in the air, I promise, doing the captain pose. But listen, so, okay, my father went and did his first show in Reading, Mass, with Joe Eugenio. Then finally, I said, Dad, I really want to go, ask whoever you need to ask, I want to go.
How old were you at the time?
I was 15.
I see.
15. I went to the very next show, which actually was at the PAL in Fall River. And I thought I was like so cool. I had my Walkman, which was still like a CD player Walkman. That's how old this shit is. I had like a CD player Walkman. I sat on the stage stairs at the PAL and watched everybody set up everything. Then finally, it was like, Joe. Joe came up to me and was like, kid, who are you? I was like, oh, I'm Bill's son. He's like, oh. He's like, well, you going to pay to get in the show? I said, no. He said, well, you better start doing something or you ain't watching this shit for free. And I was like, oh, all right, Joe, no problem. I started helping him right away. Right away. No, actually, the first thing I did is went unload the concession truck for the concession stand. That's how much I remember. I unloaded the concession truck for the concession stand, was gassed that he even asked me. Don't tell anybody this, but I was gassed that he even asked me.
I promise I won't say.
No, I've never
told anything.
I was gassed that he even asked me to help him with anything. I didn't care. And like, okay, after that, it was every time they had a show, I went, set up the ring. There were some nights where we were at the PAL where I know you guys know personally that if you do the concession stand, you cannot see the ring. You cannot see the ring at all. So, like, I'm sitting at the concession stand for 3.5 hours a night. I can't even see the matches.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, paying my dues pretty much, and I hated it. But at the same time, I did it because it just got me in and in. But finally.
But that was way better than standing at the door taking tickets, right?
Right. That was way better than. That was way better than anything to me because I was part of a wrestling company. This was like something I never thought would ever happen in my life. I was just a mark. I just wanted to watch the show. That was it.
Now, how long did your dad actually participate at this time?
My dad did this for a good, almost I would say at least 3, 4, 5 years, like at least. And I set up the ring every one of those years. Like that first time I went, I didn't touch the ring. On the way out, the show was over, I touched the ring. The first time I just took all the concession stuff out of the truck. We set it up. I did concession that very night. Didn't see anything from the show. Was completely disgusted because that's what I went for, was to watch the show. Didn't get to see it. Completely disgusted. Go home, whatever. Then from then on, I set up the ring, the whole 9.
Now, my random question, this is the Monster Mack random question of the podcast. Is there out there on the internet a match of possibly Kris Pyro's father wrestling?
No. My dad actually never wrestled.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I like that.
No, my dad actually never wrestled. If you get technical, me and him wrestled each other for about 4 minutes one time once we set up the ring in the old gym, like back in the hallway
Was
days.
it filmed? That's the question.
No.
Oh,
no, I wish. And he shot a powerbomb on me, just saying.
I was hoping that was on the internet somewhere so people could rush to it.
I wish it was, because I would love that. Because so many people hate on their beginnings. I love my beginning. Humble beginnings is where it's at. People... And I don't want to name names because this is going to get me heat with anybody.
You can at least name 2 names if you want. I'll give you 2.
People. Whoa! Are you kidding me right now? Hold on. I'm going to take a leave of absence for 1 second. Just say hi to the new guest, and I'll be right back.
Walking in. We're going to pause this for a second.
I'm a monster, Mack.
All right, guys, we had to take a quick pause because Alex Payne randomly showed up while we were recording the podcast. So, Pyro and Davey Cash, who's actually... We didn't mention Davey Cash was here, but he's here.
Dave Cash is here. Say hi, Dave.
What's going on,
The
people?
hoods always roll together.
We do not leave each other's side. Alex Payne was here.
Dan Strikes
Not to
just
mention...
showed up, too.
Okay,
What's going on here, man?
I do have to say that me and Dan Strikes, no BS, trained in the very same class, okay?
You know what?
So-
He didn't mention you when he talked about the class he trained in. He talked about Jamie, and he was like, who's this Pyro character?
Fuck you. I was 15.
And you were like 8.
Yeah, I was. I was just really small.
Tell him, Pyro. Do you wrestle for Beyond Wrestling? Dan Strikes? I don't think so.
Oh, shooter.
I'm a shooter.
Shooter.
All right, so Pyro, we were talking about paying your dues and when you first got started in the wrestling business.
Right. Like, I literally was... It's crazy because I'm like I do not like confrontation. As much as people are like, oh, Kris Pyro's crazy, Davey's crazy, whatever the case may be.
That might be true. The second part, man.
Davey's definitely fucking crazy.
I love Davey Cash.
Let me tell you right now, do
he
not
is a wild
push the
card,
Davey
my friend.
Cash
He is a
button. You
wild
push
card.
the Davey Cash button, you're liable to end up in the hospital. Just saying. Anyway, but you're not on blast.
No,
Everybody
that's not
already knows.
blast.
So
Those are positive things, my friend.
listen, so like, yeah, I was actually afraid to ask Joe, to start training for like the longest time. It took me like a month finally to get up the gall. Like, hey Joe, I want to wrestle. Like, no BS, I want to wrestle.
Isn't it funny to like look back at that, like the way
It's
that
unbelievable that I was.
Why didn't I just say it from the
Right.
get-go?
It's funny because the day I actually started training was on a Thursday, and I walked in with my mom, which is insane. I walked in with my mom, and I just walked up to Joe. He was sitting at his infamous desk in the back, and he just sat there, and I was like, Joe, I've asked you 3 times. I said, I know you don't take me seriously. Here's my mom. There's my parents' permission. I was 15 years old. I want to start wrestling. And he just looked at me with this crazy look, and he was like, okay. I was like, word. I signed my waiver right there, man, and no word. Dan was already there. Yeah,
Yeah, so
I already
you were
mentioned
just
that,
talking
brother.
about Dan,
Yeah, Dan was there, man. Dan Strikes was there, man. He was. I don't care what anybody says about this kid. He's been wrestling for years and years. Although he may have took a few
I
years
say
off.
terrible things about him all the time, to
Well,
tell you the truth.
me too, just
Dan
not when
Strikes,
he's here.
just an awful
But-
individual.
But this kid's been around for years. I don't care what anybody says, man. He had long hair and a lightning bolt on his boobie for
damn right
mad
he did.
long. I was there, brother. I don't care what anybody says about me. It's so funny, actually, that people come up to me and Davey when we're at shows like, what are you guys in wrestling? 2-3 years? And then we're like, no. And we're nice to them. But then me and Davey go back and we look at each other like, and we start laughing like, dude, we've been wrestling for over 10 years. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you can hate on us, but I've been in actual matches for over 10 years. It's incredible that I'm only 28 and doing this, but that's the case. So, yes, I know I'm talking so much, and
I'm
it happens, but-
I'm totally okay with you throwing it all out there for the fans, but my job is to keep you on track.
Here we
so
go,
Joe
brother.
Genio said, Joe
Joe
Eugenio.
Eugenio. It's a U in there.
All this years, I thought it was Joe Genio. I thought it was related to Genio,
No, please, it's too much.
But,
I'm trying to go out and drink
so
later.
Joe Genio gives you the okay.
Fuck it.
When do you actually find your first time inside the ring? I'm sure it wasn't as a wrestler, but maybe you took some ref positions first?
I did ref a few times, and actually, believe it or not, Steve Ricard gave me a few shots here and there. Although I have to say I didn't take it as seriously because I did need to get gear. That was like a main thing for me. But I was really young. I didn't even have a job at the time. Like, I did need to get gear. That was a serious thing, especially as I look back at it now. Like, when I was that young, I was like, who cares about gear?
Yeah,
Wow,
what is
I
this
want to
gear?
wrestle.
Yeah.
Gear, that's too much money.
I do my action in the ring, brother.
Right,
Who
you
cares
know?
about gear, what I'm wearing?
Right, and that's how I thought. But at the time, now that I look back at it, gear is a big part of your presentation. And like you guys know, you guys have awesome gear.
Thank
you. Know, it's true though. I would not lie about anything,
All
especially
my
now.
stuff is custom. I don't know about his stuff over there.
Hey, You guys both have gear.
I'm working on it, all right? I got the mailman. He's coming down to my house any day now, all right?
When the mailman comes, he'll pick up that gear order and he'll send it in. I know for sure. But anyway, the first time I actually found myself in a ring, it was funny. We had a Friday-Saturday show.
Before we get into that, Pyro, I don't mean to cut you off, buddy.
Go ahead, buddy.
But who was running the trainings at that time?
Okay, when I started training, it was Brickhouse Baker. 100%.
Just one. Every
Brickhouse Baker,
Brickhouse
every
was
Tuesday,
running.
every Thursday. Davey Cash is going to crack my beer.
I'm not going to lie,
Baker.
dude. It's incredible how many people we've had on this podcast that have all worked at Brickhouse. It's literally like everyone.
It's crazy. A lot of people don't give Brickhouse the credit that he deserves, okay?
Listen, I may have some problems with Brickhouse right now and Showcase and the way that him and his son are dealing with things. But Brickhouse Baker was one of the first guys that taught me how to bump ever. And I'll always hold him high. And this is kind of a shoot. And I was thinking about this earlier today. I remember one time a couple years ago, I asked Monster Mack, like we were hanging out on a personal level. I said, like, what do you want to do with this Monster Mack stuff? Like, what's the future goal? And his response was, I want to be like Brickhouse Baker famous in this area. Like, I want everybody to know me in this area.
That's funny because that's the exact same story I was just about to tell.
Real?
Yeah, I was going to say, like...
Go ahead, man.
Like, you know, I would just be happy if I was just as famous as Brickhouse Baker in the area, pretty much. Because even though, you know, he's been doing some shady business with his son in Showcase Pro Wrestling and taking away our tag belts and not wrestling in the proper order and doing a lot of dirty business, like, I've always respected that guy, and I always, like, if I could be like that guy one day, I'll just be happy. But not to sidetrack or anything. Let's get right back into it, Kris Pyro.
I believe what you say he's pulling is called politics in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
That's like, hey, I got the upper hand, brother. You know, but it's funny. I really tend not to ever pull politics. I'd rather do what I do in the ring, show that I can outwork anybody. It's crazy that I say things like that. That is very egotistical. Hate on me if you will. But I go in the ring every single night, whether it's at RWA, which is the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, whether it's at WCW, which is Whaling City Wrestling in Fairhaven, in front of, doesn't matter how many people.
Generally between 50 and 150.
My worth is how hard I work. If I work 100%, 110% every night, no matter if it's in front of the PAL crowd in Fairhaven, the PAL crowd in Fall River, the crowd in Fairhaven, the crowd in Somerset, the crowd in this place. I wrestle in front of 10 people. I still go out there and put 115% through. It doesn't matter where I am because I want to be the top guy.
Yeah, we get it. You work really hard. All right. Let's get back on track, Pyro.
Sorry.
All right. When was your big first break?
Okay.
When was the first time
This is
you
gonna be
actually
hilarious.
stepped in the ring? I'm down for it.
This is going to be hilarious. I may have got sidetracked, but we're back on track now. It was Whitman Hanson High School. I want to say it was at least...
Yeah, where is Whitman Hanson High School?
It's in Massachusetts. I usually actually had an ex-girlfriend that lived in Whitman Hanson.
That's the name of the town is Whitman Hanson?
Whitman Hanson. It's abbreviated. Whitman Hanson is a dash, yes. And I wrestled, no word of a lie, as ironic as this is, Davey Cash was wrestling Tex McCoy at the time. TNT Terry Thomas. No, this is just a spot show.
Okay.
When we did the away shows, it was always just a made up card.
Basically, whatever Joe wanted to do.
Right.
Like,
Whatever.
What can I make the crowd pop with the most with this nonsense?
Exactly. Whatever Joe made the card of that night, that's exactly what it was. It was a Yankee show. We were at Whitman Hanson High School. I want to say at least between 350 and 500 people. This place was packed. Davey wrestled TNT Terry Thomas, Tex McCoy. At the end of the match, I had no gear, but at the same time, it was camouflage pants, a FUBU 02 jersey, a tan jersey with black lettering, and a mask. That was a Halloween mask from the Halloween store of a skeleton. I ran out, cost Tex McCoy the match. Me and Davey Cash, who is now, for some reason, my tag team partner.
For some reason.
Ironically, my tag team partner celebrate the Irish Leprechaun, Jeff. I don't care if he hates me because I call him Jeff. His name's Jeff. The Irish Leprechaun comes out to the ring, challenges me to a one-on-one match. The whole match went like this, ladies and gentlemen, okay? This is my first match ever. My first fond memory of actually being in front of a big crowd. We stepped face to face inside the ring. He pointed up. I looked up like a dummy.
Like a dummy.
which was obviously, whatever the case may be. He chopped me. He power slammed me. 13 seconds later, I was pinned and out of the ring.
Now,
But
what you're forgetting to tell people is that you were wrestling as a midget that night.
Yes, I was technically a midget. I was probably anywhere between 4'11" and maybe 5'2" at
How
the time.
old were you this time? Like 17?
Not even.
Not so
Not
16.
even. 15, 16 at the most. I trained for about a year. I started when I was 15. The month I actually turned 15, I started right before I turned 15. And then I turned 15, I trained for about a year, and then I had this match. It was a huge opportunity to me, and I took it. I didn't care what it was.
So what you're trying to say is they were trying to pass underage kids off as midgets? No freaking way. I don't believe it.
Unfortunately. And I may not confirm to the speculation, but yes. Yes, that's exactly what happened. I was just a small kid, chubby, and I wrestled as a midget against a legitimate midget, and he beat my ass. Just saying.
So you wrestled this first time. You wrestled against a midget. This is at a one spot at like a paid show that Joe put together or whatever.
I
Around
didn't
this
get
time,
paid.
You didn't get paid.
I didn't get paid.
It was a paid show for Joe though. Joe got paid.
Everybody else got paid because
Davies
Joe was
understand.
never
Davey
like
got
that.
paid.
Joe was really never like that. Everybody else got paid. Me, on the other hand, not so much. But I was breaking in. It was just a match, and I was excited, so it didn't matter.
Now this is around the same time that you're doing like camera work for the PAL shows and
Exactly.
And all that. That's when we met, man. Like I don't know if you realize, but like I used to do like ring crew. I'm like about a year and a half younger than you. I was doing like ring crew at that time as a young kid, like same way, like waiting forever to ask Joe to help take down his ring and filming whenever he needed somebody. I've known you at this point now for like 15 years.
It's incredible.
That's crazy.
It is incredible. True story, man. Because I remember you and Monster Mack, Training Number 1, and Monster Mack, and people may not know, but Sick Nick Dudley, and all the other ACW or whatever it was at the time, guys, sitting front row every PAL show in Fall River, and I just remember talking to you guys frequently. We always talked. We always conversated, whatever it was.
I have a distant memory of me trying to blow up your spot while you were filming one of the matches. I was like, I know you're that kid in that mask. I know you're not a real midget. I knew it.
I was not a midget. As much as people like to hate on me, maybe say I was. I'm 5'6" now. I'm a legal age. Legal height, I'm sorry. Legal age, legal height. Don't hate on me if you can.
So you grew up not to be a midget officially.
Right, exactly.
So
I mean, if I was a midget, this is sad to say, but if I was a midget, I'd probably make more money. But I don't, so.
You'd be contacting Hulk Hogan, getting booked and everything. So,
Yep.
Pretty much, where did that take you? You had your first official match. I'm sure you were really excited about it.
Okay, so, right, like you're saying, Mac, I had my first match. I wrestled Jeff, the Irish Leprechaun. His shoot name is Jeff. Work name, Irish Leprechaun. I wrestled him. I couldn't be more excited. I was in front of 500 people for my very first time. I probably made $15 that night.
Did you have an erection?
There was no erection,
All right,
although there should have been.
Clearing it up, that's all.
Although there should have been. There should have been an erection. There was not.
You better drink that nip is all I'm saying, too.
Jim Bean, the representative of the Mack Attack. Anyway, just saying.
Not yet. We're working on some alcoholic sponsors, though. I'm not going to lie. Like,
All I'm saying
there's been some
is-
info back and forth between us and an alcoholic beverage company, and maybe we might be getting some sponsorship, so maybe some free beers for everybody on the podcast.
There we go.
So you're working for Joe. You're training. You said you trained about a year now. You did your first match at that high school show. What was the idea? What, did you talk to Joe like, hey, man, I have this idea for a gimmick? Or
No, not at all, actually. And what's crazy is it all came up in a day. Like, Joe told me the week before we were at the Fisherman's Club in the south end of New Bedford, which was incredibly a hot spot for wrestling for some reason for a number of years.
that Fisherman Club drew like crazy sometimes.
I didn't
man,
even
for real.
understand why at points, but we used to draw incredible at the Fisherman Club. I'd say anywhere between 150 and 300 every month. At
I was
the
one of those
Fisherman's
kids,
Club.
man. I was like forever for a long. This area was so hot for wrestling, man. It
It
nuts.
was anywhere from 98, 99 to like 2003. This
Well, I mean,
area
even,
was
like
incredible.
you were saying before, like even before that, WWF would come to the Bank Street Armory. ECW came to the Bank Street Armory like 4 times, man. I went to like 3 or 4 of those shows. That as a kid, like 12 years old, no parent supervision, just at those shows, chanting along with the fans. And
my dad was a maniac, man. And let me tell you, like, God rest his soul, because he's no longer with us. But God rest his soul, he took me to one of the last ECW shows at the Armory, man. And let me tell you, I've been to ROH, I've been to Dragon Gate, I've been to all that. And ECW was the most insane
best shows
crowd
ever, right, man?
I've
For real.
ever been in front of. It was mind-boggling. I was like, I can't believe the chants, the interaction, the atmosphere. It was insane.
That was something else I wanted to bring up before we get into too much. But, like, I remember we would go to, like, ROH shows, Honor Invades Boston, like, the first times it came around.
Scramble Madness.
And, like, you guys were, like, the only other people we knew from this area that were going to those shows, and that was, like, always, like, as soon as ROH started, you guys were around. And I know now you guys are, like, PWG fans and CZW fans and all that.
Totally.
Like, you guys try to keep ahead of the, like, what's cool for the smart marks, basically. Like, I have no problem admitting it. At that time, dude, I was the smartest of marks. Like, I thought I knew what was best for the wrestling business, and I think we all were like that at that point.
Right. Like, I'm not going to lie. In 2002... 2003, I went to my very first ROH show, not even having a license. I drove my girlfriend's car to Wakefield, Massachusetts in 2002 for Scramble Madness, and that night, no word of a lie, my mind was blown.
That was that Boston venue, right?
Yes, that was the Wakefield venue.
Dude.
Not the Braintree venue, but the Wakefield venue.
Yes,
they only ran there twice. They did Honor Invades Boston, then Scramble Madness. Then from there, they moved to the Braintree venue. I can't believe that I remember this much, but at least...
Well, at the time, man, ROH was a big deal.
Dude,
like,
ROH was insane.
To us, I mean, specifically.
When you see in the ring a 10-man tag scramble match,
those Scramble Madness matches, what?
4 men give a double, like not even a double, a quadruple power bomb off the top rope back into the ring, like a tiger bomb, back into the ring. 4 men, 4 posts, same time. That was mind-blowing to me. I was like,
never seen anything like that before, right?
Never, ever. And I was like, this is what wrestling should be. And then the main event boggled my mind. And this is going to be crazy to people, because people don't think of me like this, because I'm a very spot-oriented guy.
Main event
I
was
want to go out
Bryan?
there.
Brian Danielson.
Daniel Bryan, a.k.a. Bryan Danielson, against Doug Williams from the UK. 30-minute Iron Man match. These guys went out there.
Dude, I
and
cannot
they put
believe you
on
remember
an absolute
that.
spectacle. I have the DVD. Mark, yes, I've already said it. I have the DVD. Scramble Madness, 30-minute Iron Man match. These guys went out there and put on a spectacle. See, as much people as watch my wrestling see that I go for the gusto, they see that I go 100%, 150%.
ROH is part of that reason, is what you're saying.
It is, because I believe I watch a lot of PWG now, which is Pro Wrestling Guerrilla out of Reseda, California. And these guys go out there and they wrestle like they're Superman.
PWG, man, is real solid. Like
a lot of people hate on it. They say maybe
throw the
it's
psychology out the window or whatever.
But you know what? Why would you be a guy that can take a clothesline and get up when you can be a guy that takes a power bomb off the top rope and get up? Like, think about that. Like, yes, okay, wrestling's old. It's in the books. It's psychology. This and that. No. I'm a fucking Superman, dude. I don't care. Put me through barbed wire. Put me through thumbtacks. Stab me with a barbecue skewer. I'm getting up. And if it can't hurt me in real life, it can't hurt me in a wrestling match. I go in there and 150% try to make sure wrestling looks as real as possible. People hate on that. But I'd rather punch somebody in the face than miss and be like, you fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up. I'd rather go in there and drill somebody and then be like, oh, shit. He hit him right in the face. Than, oh, you missed by a foot. And a lot of guys go in there and think it's a big show. To me, this is serious, man. Like, it's serious to me. I want to go in there and fucking kill somebody rather than them say, oh, you missed me on that forearm. Or you missed me on that enziguri. Or you missed me on this.
All right, Kris Pyro. Let's take it back before you were a Superman. when you started into the business.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping chapters.
Yeah, let's work the fans up here, like we're working a match or something.
I'm jumping chapters, guys. I'm sorry.
All right. So what do we got? People used to think you're a midget. You had your first match.
Okay.
This is where we
True
are.
story. They thought I was a midget, and I did that for a good 6 to 8 months. I've wrestled Jeff, which is the Irish Leprechaun, or Doug.
Now, this was under a mask, correct?
This was under a mask because I was 15, 16 years old
What
at
was
the
your
most.
actual work name?
Funny thing is, the promoter now for Top Rope Promotions, which is Steve Ricard, used to be, fact, he can deny this on any podcast, anywhere. I was cool with Steve Ricard for a very long time. When him and Ariel were still on a dating level, I was the mini crazy Mexican. He was the crazy Mexican. I was the mini crazy Mexican. I was a midget.
Side Monster Mac fact: Crazy Mexican, one of my favorite independent wrestlers. He could never get that win over Ariel. Every single time.
Never.
Almost got it.
I'm not going to lie. David Cash gets in, but possibly because that was his girlfriend.
So, all right. So you're playing
But anyway,
the mini crazy Mexican.
I was the mini crazy Mexican.
Similar mask?
Very exact same mask until he got the red and black one.
I recall.
When he got the red and black one, the one he bought off High Spots, once he got the red and black one he bought off High Spots, I could not compete because I was a little younger.
So
I didn't have
you were
no
done.
money. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'll wear the old mask you used to wear. Okay. Me and Steve were close for a very number of years. I rode to every show. Steve Ricard, promoter of Top Rope Promotions. I was very close to Steve for a very long time. We rode together show after show. I knew he dated Ariel, which was Anna to me because we went to high school together. I knew the whole deal. She was getting put over because Steve was doing whatever he had to do at the time. And I don't hate on Steve at all. Steve's done what he had to do year after year. Now he is owner/promoter of Top Rope Promotions, which is a big deal now.
Now, since you started as Steve's manager, as the Crazy Mexican's manager, did he kind of like show you the ropes of the wrestling business? No.
Well, Steve was honestly when me and Steve first really started hanging out, he was a very good guy. For some reason, Steve has a hard time putting professional differences and outside of the ring differences together. He can be the biggest dick when it comes time for shows, which I understand because at the time you're nervous, you want to make sure everything goes off the way it does. I've been there. I've run 2 shows. I understand what that's like. He can be a complete dick at shows. When you get him outside of a show and you get him just hanging out, chilling with the boys, he's awesome, dude. It really is. It's true. He is one of the guys. He'll sit there and drink with you. He'll sit there and talk with you. He has no problem whatsoever when we're outside of a show. When we get to a show, I don't know if his jock strap gets tight, whatever the case may be, but, well, I understand because I've been there, but it's time to run a show. No BS.
So what's the next level for Kris Pyro? You're the mini crazy Mexican. Where does it go from here?
Well,
Go ahead, man.
I did the Mini Crazy Mexican thing for, I'd say, 6 to 8 months. Then Steve finally came to me and was like, well, you're wearing swishies and a Hot Topic tight shirt. You have no gear. You have boots. I understand. Good for you. You have a mask now. I understand. Good for you.
Good for
but
you got boots, kid.
You have no gear, which at the time, Steve Ricard was like the gear man, like he had a box of gear.
For everybody or just for himself is what he's saying?
Whoever wanted gear, and I don't have to say names, but if you went up to him, and I remember those lightning tights. If you remember, go up to him.
Strikes, folks.
Bullshit, Dan. You had a lightning strikes, a lightning fucking
you
bolt
had a
on
lightning
your chest.
bolt on your chest, Dan Strikes.
Or it was some kind of tights that were two-tone or something like that. Yellow
and
Thank
black.
you,
The
Scott
tattoo was
Levesque.
Yellow and black, Dan Strikes.
Well, yeah, but you got them. I don't know if you got them off Steve. Maybe not. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to put Dan out there, but he never brought his tights off Steve.
Dan Strikes, Steve Ricard, he bought the merch.
Yeah,
from
see,
him.
there was something along those lines. Dude, we trained in the same class, so I know something along those lines.
He was watching.
Don't
you,
worry,
Dan.
Dan. It's all good, brother. Dude, like I said, you're in my class. There's no hate to you towards whatever, dude. Side fact, we had the hot boys in our class, me and Dan Strikes, which,
AJ and DJ Hot?
I'm talking about AJ and DJ Hot. AJ Hot was the coolest man. Albert, you are
joke,
a
dude.
G.
I'm a
DJ
big fan
Hot,
of who? I almost said the F word there. Yeah,
Albert,
I'm a big fan
Albert,
of Albert, man.
AJ my ass.
Me and him
Albert
got along like a lot, man.
You know who you are. From Fall River.
He randomly started doing like PTW shows and stuff. And at that
People
point, that's
do
when I met
things.
him, dude. And I was just like, this dude's awesome.
I know when I was also working for Joe Eugenio,
All the
I may
time.
have done an ACW show back like in the Fall River, like Pub 99 area type.
Oh, the upstairs, the
Yeah,
Dirty Union
where
Mills.
you could not go off the bottom rope without smashing your head on the ceiling. I wrestled Sean Dice there one time, and then
Sean, oh my God,
dude, I'm bringing stories. We're gonna be here for 4 hours, but
oh yeah,
people will listen.
4 hours long.
But listen, I remember distinctively going up to who at the booker was the time was Havoc. I don't know if anybody even know who
Wow,
Havoc
yeah,
is.
nobody does.
Which was Paulie at the time. I went up to him. I was like, I want to work tonight, and he was like, really? And I was like, yeah.
All right, dude. He's probably a fan
exactly.
of yours.
He's like, I'm gonna wrestle Sean Dice, which was Dominic Dice Gambino. If any of you remember from the Yankee Pro Wrestling days.
Wow, man, that's
And
crazy.
I wrestled Dominic Dice Gambino, and no bullshit. The finish to our match was he used to do this reverse bulldog. He'd jump off the middle rope and do like a reverse, like almost like diamond cutter type bulldog thing. He jumped on the middle rope, smashed his head on the ceiling, fell into my arms like a 2-year-old kid.
And 1, 2, 3.
And I let him pin me. He was knocked out. Okay, knocked out. And I let him pin me. He fell on top of me like a brick of shit.
Pyro, before Mack yells at you, I'm gonna try to get you back on a track.
I'm sorry,
here.
I'm totally off
It's
course.
okay. It's okay.
But I have
There's
so
been a
many
lot of
stories.
Jim Beam, a lot of Captain that's been
Captain.
thrown around this room.
Captain Morgano.
I wasn't going to yell at you. I was going to say I'm sure the 8 fans in attendance absolutely love that end spot.
17 fans in attendance.
And now I'm going to yell at you. Get back on track, goddammit. Where are we? I forgot.
Wait,
I have no clue. We were talking about, I think, me
Right
wrestling
after-
for the first time.
Right after
The Irish Leprechaun.
the Irish Leprechaun.
And gear.
Right after you did
Ricardo
the mini Mexican.
Okay, Ricardo put the kibosh on me because I had swishy pants and a tight shirt from Hot Topic, okay? So that happened. I didn't wrestle for like a year. I was hell-bent on Steve Ricard for that reason. I understand now. I didn't have no gear. Cool.
Now-
Finally,
Did you still work for the promotion for that year? Were you filming, doing the...
yes, I filmed shows. I did whatever the case may be.
So
Set
you're
the
kind of
ring.
taken out of the spotlight for a little bit.
Well, not even the spotlight. I was just taken out of the card.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I understand, Mac. But I was just taken out of the card. So then finally, Sean Candido, which maybe many people don't know, but is Jamie Rebello. He won't hate me. I've known this motherfucker for 10
I
years.
thought Sean Candido was his real name. I swear to God.
A.K.A. Sean Candido.
Which is his
okay?
work name?
I also trained in the same class as him, and so did Dan. Finally took over the book for Yankee Pro Wrestling, which
I
is
see.
the booker position, which makes the matches. Okay.
Now,
And
was he running SCCW at the time, too?
never.
or-
He never had a hand in SCCW. He wrestled for SCCW, maybe for like SCCW, for maybe like 2, maybe a little longer than 2 years. And then finally, Joe gave him the opportunity when Kevin Castro and Gino stopped. Kevin Castro and Gino Giovanni stopped booking for Yankee Pro Wrestling. He gave Jamie, which Sean Candido, the opportunity to run Yankee Pro Wrestling and take the book over, which is the matchmaker position.
And you can find all this and more at Sean Candido's Mattcast episode right there. You
If
can
that's the
check it
case,
out.
he should know
You
better,
fans
because
want.
if he doesn't know this, I will school him to it, because I've been here for so many years it's retarded and people think I've been wrestling for 2 years. But anyway, so Jamie Rebello took over the booker position, which is the matchmaker position, the story position for Yankee Pro Wrestling, and on the very first show, it was me, Pat Masters, Eddie Edwards, Grayson P. Alexander, which is now the ladies' man, Gregory Edwards. No, oh yeah, you're right. Dan is right. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little too messed up on the Captain Morgan. But anyway, he's right. The first person to actually give me a book was Grayson P. Alexander, which is Guy Alexander, now that does wrestle for various promotions around the New England area. He gave me a book for maybe, I'd say, 5, 6 different times. It wasn't every show, but it was consistent enough that it was better than what I was doing. And then finally, Joe Eugenio and Guy Alexander had a blowout. Guy was out, along with the rest of the score, very shortly. But at the first show, it was me, Mike Bennett, what was his name at the time? Pat Masters, which eventually his name was like...
Playboy Pat Masters.
No, but it was even after that. It was when he had the score gimmick. What was his name?
It was
IQ.
IQ.
Aaron Quincy.
Aaron Quincy.
Aaron
Okay.
Quincy. It was Ern Quincy, Kid Pyro, which was my name at the time.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask.
Kid Pyro. That was my name at the
Mask
time.
off or
No,
mask
mask
on?
on. Mask
Gotta
on for a
stick with that
long
mask,
time.
brother.
I actually got the mask, no BS, off GED. No, GED was Teddy, which is Gregory Edward Dreyfus. I got the mask off SAT, which was Dan Freitas. Sigmund Alexander Trebek was Brian. I'm getting totally confused. Brian Nunes
Those
of the Pride.
score guys had so many names. Was it MCAS you got it off
MCAS, yes, Milton Cass. I got the mask. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little bit buzzed on the captain.
I love
okay?
how you love. I love how you know all their names. 'Cause-
Dude, you don't understand. Like me, Milton Cass, Gregory Edward Dreyfus, SAT, which was Sigmund Alexander Trebek, Ern Quincy. We all went to ROH shows together. Like it was all of us in a group, and we went together.
And
Fantastic Frank, which is one of my diehard homies till this day.
you can't forget about the fantastic one.
You bring in Frank as your tag partner. You start doing the Chris Evans stuff.
Right. It was Fantastic Frank, which the day he turned, I will never forget it, okay? Frank was the type of kid that you couldn't tell him what to do. He did whatever he wanted to do. He didn't care what you told him. You could be the booker, the owner. He did not care, okay? He wanted to do whatever he wanted to do at the time. We're doing family-oriented shows, okay? Finally, I come out. Frank's wrestling Huey McGraw, Woody McGraw in the corner. I come out. My first time debuting as Chris Evans. No mask. I'm excited as a pig in shit. I hit Huey McGraw with a chair. Frank pins him. Frank told me before the show, okay? Frank told me, and he told Steve Ricardo, for a matter of fact. I'm flipping people off. And I was like, Frank, you cannot do that.
Don't do it, Frank.
Dude, you can't do that. Like, dude, we're going to get kicked off the shows. He's like, I don't give a shit. Frank goes out there. He parlays Huey McGraw with that chair. I get the win. No word of a lie. Frank just starts throwing rollers to everybody. Boom. Boom. We're at the PAL in Fall River, one of our most sacred places to run. And Frank's throwing rollers to everybody. He did not care. He was like, dude, if I don't wrestle tomorrow, I don't care. He was that type of kid. He's throwing rollers to everybody. Bang, picking people off. I'm like, Frank, you're out of your mind, bro. We're going to get to the back. We're going to hear a boatload. We get to the back. No word of a lie. Sean Gadio comes up there. It's like, that's crazy heat. We're going to keep with this. I'm like, okay, fuck it. Why not? We're going to keep with this heat. We're going to keep with it. Next show we come out. And the wrestler is Kid Pyro in my legit Kid Pyro gear. And then the match, it was Frank. I want to say it was Frank, Huey, and somebody else. I don't know why Huey was on his team. He was the only babyface on his team. And it was me, Kid Pyro, somebody else, and somebody else. I really don't remember. I did a dive over the guardrail into somebody else. The ending of the match ended with me turning on Huey McGraw, hitting with a fucking hockey stick in the head.
Yeah.
And unmasking myself to join with Frank. Big deal to me because I was like, wow, I'm finally getting wrestling without a mask. That's a big deal. We turn. Boom. We had heat for months and months and months. Finally, something happens. We do a burning hammer. I would like to call it a scandal.
Yeah.
Some reporter comes up to us.
See, I was going to get into this. David Cash talked about this.
A reporter comes up to us,
Daily
and we're
podcast.
in the locker room. And me and Dave, as much as people maybe not like, or maybe people hate, yes, we smoke weed, okay?
Oh, it happens.
If people hate, bro, you can hate as much as you want. I'll fucking run a circle around you in the
It's
ring.
decriminalized in Massachusetts,
Okay.
by the way.
I'll run a circle around you, smoke a blunt, run another circle around you, okay?
Well,
Hate on me if you can, outdo me if you must, okay?
It's cutting Taz promos.
But anyway, don't worry, because you won't survive unless I let you. Okay? So anyway, me and Dave were doing our thing. This is the end of our Yankee Pro Wrestling run. Okay? Dave was the heavyweight champion. I was the top heel in the company, getting heat like I couldn't even believe. I would go out there and get my heat. Dave would go out there and get his pop. We called it a day. We'd go and do our own thing. We never put it out there that we did what we did, okay?
That was kind of like a personal thing that you guys did on your own.
Right.
It wasn't
We
something that
never
you
put it out
brought
there.
to the ring or anything like that. Like, I know what you're saying, yeah.
Right. I honestly think, till this day, me and him both talk, okay? Me and Dave are close as anything could be. And I honestly think, till this day, that Steve Ricard put that reporter in the locker room on purpose, okay? He went up to the only people with no jobs, no high school diplomas, and no future, okay? People can hate on me all they want. I have no future. But you know what?
What?
You know what? Hate if you must. Hate if you will. I'm going to outdo you. I don't give a damn. Step in the ring beside me, okay? Step in the ring beside me. Yeah, I've been sipping captain for what? Where we at?
2 hours now.
2 hours? I've been sipping captain, but step in the ring beside me. As captain as I am right now, I will put on a show like you cannot put on, okay? I am the Shawn Michaels attitude of 1997. I am the Shawn Michaels attitude of 1998 and 1999. I will go out there and I'll work you. I don't care. You can work as hard as you want, bro. Step in the ring beside me, and you're in for the fucking work of your life, okay? Because I don't care. I go out there every night, 4 weekends in a month, wanting to be the top match of that night.
You know, and that's really what people want to see in professional wrestlers. Right there is determination, you know. A lot of some guys just really like don't give it all in there, and I really think the fans appreciate that when they watch Kris Pyro matches, because or the Hoods matches in general, because you can really see you guys are throwing it all out there. But just to get back on track, let's training number 1. Where are we right now? Because I really forgot.
Chris Evans. We're at Chris Evans.
We're at Chris Evans. We're talking about the reporter in the locker room in New Bedford. Dude, you don't have to apologize to me, my friend. This is all entertaining.
I did tell him I was sorry.
Yeah, no,
that's only because I have so much info.
This
I'm sorry,
is all
guys.
entertaining, and as long as the conversation.
I've been doing this for
keeps
10
flowing.
years. I understand there's so much info that I don't know what to say at
Now,
what point.
we're talking about this infamous thing that happened.
If you want to
with,
be honest, it's a weed scandal, okay? People can hate as much as they want. It's a marijuana scandal.
and we talked about it a little bit on the Davey
Okay.
Cash podcast.
I want to say between... Dude, okay, you want to know the truth? Me and David Cash, we're the right hand and left hand, okay? People say me and David Cash maybe not be like 100% together. We're together, whether people like it or not. Me and David Cash get into arguments, dog. Full-fledged arguments, okay? Well, we're yelling at each other. The next day he calls me, I call him. It's over and done with.
Well, when
That's what a tag team is.
we want the details on that report. Before I get into that, you must have known Davey Cash for such a long time now, because you mentioned when you started in Yankee as a young age, and we all know that listening from Davey Cash.
Pyro just blew Davey a kiss. I'm sorry.
I did.
Listening to Davey Cash's
No homo.
podcast, we know that he's pretty much was raised into Yankee as a child, and we can say the same for you. So you guys pretty much knew each other for a long time, but the Mackanites and the wrestling fans want to know the inside information. We heard it from Davey Cash. We want your side of the story. What happened the day with that reporter? Because I know you guys say you smoke weed and whatnot.
True story.
But it's not like you guys are token up right before the bell, right before your matches. You know, I'm sure you guys let it die down a little bit. We want the info. What happened that day?
Okay. I can remember that day like it was anything ever, okay? Put it this way. At the time, I was doing the Canadian Chris Evans at shows. Being Canadian in a New Bedford area, which is heavily like, oh, I'm Portuguese, I'm this, I'm that. Do you know how much heat I had, like, being a Canadian? It was insane. I had the most heat in the company at the time. Just being Canadian. I'd come out, I'd wave my Canadian flag, I wouldn't say 2 words, because I was still very timid. And I'd have heat, like, unbelievable, just because I was acting as a Canadian. I was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts, okay? I've never been in Canada in my life, okay? I decided to don the gimmick because I thought it'd be a good idea, okay? It was a very good idea because at the time, when this whole scandal went down, when me and Dave got caught smoking the joint, okay? This promoter, I could almost swear on my fucking daughter, which is going to be 3 years old, okay? Well, she is 3 years old and just turned 3 years old. I could swear on my daughter that this scandal was not brought upon me and Davey Cash, and Huey McGraw, which is also known as H. McGraw, which is also known as Mr. Monroe. It was brought upon the three of us like it was like a web virus, like a Trojan. It was come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, Ricard comes up to me, Dave, and Huey McGraw, which is known as John Monroe right now. And if John gets mad at me, he should know already the deal. Okay, he's been around this business for years, as long as we has. If he gets mad at me, I'll call him right now on the podcast and let him know the deal. Okay. Because John Monroe and me have been. I gave John Monroe an angle slam in the middle of Good Times Emporium before wrestling was hip. Okay, put it that way. Okay.
Was that NECW?
No, that was NLP. No Limit Pro.
Okay.
John Monroe. I just remember standing in the middle of Good Times Emporium when we had a show, and John Monroe just comes running at me, and he's like, "Give me an angle slam," and I'm like, "Fuck it, why not?" I threw my hip. Not my hip. I threw my thumb out of place. My right thumb, and gave him an angle slam on the bare concrete floor.
Oh, man.
Drunk as a goddamn mofo, okay? I'm trying not to swear because I don't want to offend people, but at the same time, like, I have to say what I have to say, okay? I did the Chris Evans thing, okay? The whole scandal went down.
Yep.
Me and D were hanging out one day behind a show. He was the heavyweight champ at the time, Davey Cash. I was the biggest heel in the company because I was a Canadian. Granted, yeah, it's easy. It's very cheesy. But I was
still the top heel.
I was still the top heel. Okay, I had broke my hand, my right hand at the time. Steve Ricard, owner / promoter of Top Promotions, pulls us aside, said, "Listen, I understand this whole thing went down." He's like, "You guys come to practice for 3 months, which was 2 times a week, $5 a week, $5 per practice. You guys come each week, which is 2 times a week, for 3 months, and I will continue to promote you, continue to book you."
Even though this whole, like, you didn't really get into it too much, but it was basically the reporter wrote a story about how you guys were behind the building rolling up, I believe they're called blunts.
Blunts.
I believe they're called blunts, and you guys were smoking them before the show or something, and there was the quote of, like, 85% of the wrestlers do this, or something like that was thrown out there, and Davey believes that you guys were set up, like that was the guy was sent back there without the knowledge of you guys knowing he was a reporter, and you kind of just talking to him like he was a normal dude.
See, at the time, like training number 1, as you say this, true story, we did believe he was just there to report the legit nonsense. We didn't think he was
like
going to take...
he was just going to do like this guy won, this happened kind of thing, right?
Right, exactly 100%. We didn't think he was going to take our word for word conversation and put it out on the internet. But he proceeded to take our word for word conversation, put it out to the internet, and then when it finally surfaced and came back after we spent 3 months spending money on practices which we had been to for years and years just to get back on shows, Steve told us legitimately like this: "I cannot use you for 3 months. I understand, George," which is I, Kid Pyro, Chris Evans, fucking whatever you want to call me. You're the top heel in the company. And then pulls Davey aside and said, "I understand you're the top babyface in Yankee Pro. I was the top heel." Said, "Well, I cannot use you guys for 3 months." I said, "Okay, that's fine." We went to every practice, which was Tuesday and Thursday, $5 a piece. So you figure in 3 months' time, that's what? 4 practices a week, $5 a piece. That's $20 a week. That's $60. Granted, to people like us, we're not making millions of dollars. As much as people like to think, hey, we're guapping. We ain't guapping, okay? We go to shows, and now, finally, we're starting to make our fucking money. Beforehand, it never happened, okay? People can hate as much as they want. I'm still doing more shows than you. I'm still on YouTube way more than you, okay? And I don't get paid goddamn thing.
Right.
Okay?
I just want to say, to write a negative story, messed up. But to smoke your marijuana and then write a negative story about you, effed up. I'm just going to say that right now, man.
Right,
Exactly.
The guy smoked the weed with you guys.
With us.
And then wrote a story about how you guys were smoking
I
weed.
want to know how cool he is to smoke a joint or two, which is a joint, white paper, ladies and gentlemen.
Jibba.
Joint, a Jibstein, with us, or two with us, and then say it's wrong. When me and Davey Cash ourselves smoke blunts, thank you very much. Blunts, ladies and gentlemen. You can hate all you want. Don't book us. Ask me if I care, okay? Because my life's more about than wrestling. My wrestling, once I step in between those 3 ropes, 16 feet by 16 feet, 18 feet by 18 feet, 20 feet by 20 feet, proves what I do. When I step into those rings, I go out there and I work 195% of the time. I'm there to outdo everyone else. And if you hate on me, hate on me. It's all good. That's what I do. If you can't go out there and outperform me, don't outperform me, because I'm going to outperform you, and I don't care. Period.
So the Canadian Chris Evans deal, you guys pretty much put to a halt. You have to go to these trainings for 3 months. You're paying every 4 times a week. You're $10 a month. $40 a month, $60 a month, $80 a month, whatever it was. You guys are going all these shows. You get to the 3-month point, and then what happens?
Okay, I'm sorry. Can I jump into very many different things?
My friend, you do not have to apologize. This is
no.
This is pure entertainment for me as well.
The Mack cast is strictly
no. We are laid back.
Point.
We are laid back around here, my friend.
But anyway. Like I was saying, okay, so we do these 3 months, okay? Me and David Cash ourselves. We are friends. We hang out every day at this point, okay? We do these 3 months, and we pay every Tuesday and every Thursday $5 a piece, okay? Now, for 3 months, you figure there's 4 weeks in a year. There's $10 per week. That's $40 a week. $40 a month. 3 months. That's $120. Granted, at the time, we may not be doing things like we do things, okay? So we're not making the money we make. $40 a month, okay? And we paid faithfully and didn't work anywhere else. When those 3 months are up, Steve Ricard pulls us aside, and at the time was the concession room where he kept all the concession nonsense and whatever the case might be, popcorn, figures, whatever the case may be, T-shirts, horns, whatever the case may be, pulls us aside. Me and Dave says, listen, I understand, Dave, you're the top baby face, you're the heavyweight champion. George, I understand you're the top heel, which is bad guy jargon. Or I understand you guys are on top of the game right now, but I can't use you. After he told us 3 months previous that he was going to use us. I'm like, wow, okay. So then I legitimately, and Dave too, stopped wrestling for about a year. Legitimately. From then, we decide to start pursuing our craft elsewhere, which may not be as good as we were at the time we thought. But we decided to go to ACW, which is Alliance Championship Wrestling.
Before we get to the ACW stuff, I wanted to kind of touch on you were in the crowd during the whole Spider incident, right?
Legit, okay? Many people talk stories about the Spider incident, okay?
See, that's like I let
many people have
I
stories.
was glad Davey got to get his side of the story out.
As well as I.
As somebody who was in the crowd and actually watched it happen.
Like, okay, no word of a lie, okay?
And I'm sure you with Davey earlier in the day, too.
Exactly. At the time, I had a Ford Expedition, not Eddie Bauer, but XLT edition, okay? It was a navy blue, midnight blue Ford Expedition 2003, okay? On that night, I distinctly remember my cousin, which we used to call him, Matt Murder, had nothing to do with wrestling business. Matt Murder rode with us. He was in the front seat with me, Kris Pyro, okay? In the back seat, we had Davey Cash, Fantastic Frank, okay? And Carlos V, which if you don't have heard of Carlos V, big-eared Carlos, okay? Mr. I can't take a bump. If I get hit, I'll cry. Whatever the case may be, he was in on this ride, okay? Carlos V was a G. He rolled with us, okay? We rolled to the show, okay? We followed Jamie there, which is Sean Candido, and Kevin Castro, okay? We get to the show. Davey's like, yo, I'm going to have a sick match tonight. I'm wrestling Spider. I'm like, wow, good for you, bro. Which, legitimately, no word of a lie, I remember to this day, Davey was pushing for the match against me, okay? If anybody needs to know, he was trying to talk to, at the time, which is what, Anthony Rufo, right? Anthony Rufo to wrestle me that night, okay? Anthony Rufo didn't buy, okay? I did not wrestle. I was disgusted. At the same time, I did not wrestle. It was then Davey Cash, which at the time wasn't even Davey Cash. He was Highlight Kid against Spider, which at the time was Dan Quirk, okay? I stood on the side of these two men, and anybody can say whatever the fuck they want to say. I stood on the side of these two men while they called their match. And they both had a good 2 to 3 minute conversation before the match even happened about how we put our fucking lives at risk, okay? Every time, whether it's an arm drag, a hip toss, whatever the case may be, put our lives on the line every time we step into that fucking ring, okay? People hate and think, oh, it's fake. Let me tell you, if I'm not making contact, then I think it's faked. I hit people for fucking fun, okay? I hit people to make wrestling look real. Because I'm sick of people coming up to me and telling me that wrestling's fake. When I drill somebody in the ring and they're fucking like rocked from me forearming them and they say, oh shit, that looked real. Wrestling's real, okay? I've had my arm split open. I've had my head split open. I've had different things happen to me.
And
on that night.
When it straight comes down to it, if you can't take that kind of contact, you really shouldn't be in the wrestling business, because that's what it's all really about, man. And
exactly.
And like, you can't really be a pansy when you're in this business, because when you get in that ring, when you step in that ring, man, whatever comes your way, you have to deal with, you know. And
Mac, I totally agree 100%.
Like, that's why I'm down. Like, if some guys are a little stiffer in the ring, you know, whatever, man. If you're going to dish it out, then you should be able to deal with it. That's all I'm trying to say.
And, you know, something, Mac told me that I was going to be a very long podcast. It's okay, because I have so much information. It's unbelievable.
Hey, man, the information's flowing, and I am loving it, okay? So keep it coming, brother.
Mac, I'll sit here with you guys all night if it comes to it.
Yeah,
Training number one.
I'm
Mac,
down.
I will sit here all night, because you know what? People need to know the truth, okay? When the whole Spider thing went down, I was sitting front row. Okay, I was sitting with 4 people, okay? It was me, then Fantastic Frank, which many people don't know. He did the Canadian thing with me. He was Fantastic Frank. He danced around the ring for a couple of years. Then it was Carlos V, which wrestled as Aaron Knight. A very different, many names. And then my cousin Matt, which never wrestled at all, okay? It was the 4 of us sitting in that exact row, okay? These 2 went out there and called a spectacle, man. They went out there and they wrestled their asses off. I want to say for at least 6 to 7 minutes, they were fucking going ROH style in 2002, 2003, which was balls to the wall. You go, you go, you
Just
go.
Just going crazy.
Exactly. Finally, they came to a spot that, no word of a lie, on my fucking daughter, okay? Spider called the dive spot on the outside, okay? I don't want to say it was him taking his own bump, but I want to say it was momentum and I want to say it was momentum taking him off his balance, okay? That was Ash. Anyway, I want to say it was momentum taking off his balance. Dave went to go for a high cross body over the top rope, which I've seen Dave do 1,000,000 times before this, okay? I don't care what anybody says. Anybody, after they're hearing this, come to me and ask me the story, I will tell them the same thing. I was sitting right there. Dave went for a high cross body over the top rope, which is a plancha, okay? You catch the man. Enough for him to break his fall on the floor. Dan, Spider, Quirk, that night, I don't know if it was the momentum, I don't know if it was his own mind, okay, because I wasn't in his mind. But the momentum from Dave coming over the top rope took his feet from out under him, okay? And shit happened. I'm not even going to go into detail because it's not my point.
Right.
Not my place. But I was there.
But some shit went down.
Anything can happen. I could give a guy a pile
wrestling.
driver tomorrow.
It's wrestling.
And by accident, something happens, he gets hurt, okay? This is pro wrestling. You go back to the 80s, you go back to the 90s, you watch early 80s and 90s, people get hurt, bro. This is pro wrestling, okay? This is not fucking ballerinas. This is not we go out there and do fucking pirouettes and bullshit. This is pro wrestling where we hit each other.
So you left Yankee Pro Wrestling at the time, and you started up for ACW. My side question is, when did the hood start? And my other question was, what was your first match for ACW?
Oh, man. Okay, I might not remember my first match, okay? But
you guys are doing the team talent deal.
Incredibly, yes. It was the first time an idea of mine actually got pushed towards the forum. Like, Sean Candido at the time, me,
Oh.
Wait a minute. My side
Me-
question. When you started ACW, were we still currently wrestling for them?
Yes.
Because
Actually,
I know we left soon after you defeated Training Number 1 for the interstate belt. It upset us so much we had to get the hell out of there.
I'm not sure how true that is.
Actually, no offense, but I think Training Number 1 would rather job the title to me
It's
than
true.
most of them ACW guys at the
Everybody else
time.
that was there, that's true.
We had Tough Daddy, so I
Yeah.
mean, but it was sad because legitimately,
Hey, guys, we're trying to do a podcast here. You know what I mean?
it was crazy because I stopped wrestling for Yankee in maybe like 04, 05 because Joe went on to that whole scandal where me and Dave smoked weed with a reporter, which was for 247southcoast.com, which was like a big nightlife website. Me and Dave went and smoked a joint with ourselves, actually, which the reporter took every word and put it into an interview and totally screwed us. Which was like, we were disgusted. If we would have found that reporter, he'd probably get his ass beat at the time.
That's what Davey said, too.
But we didn't. And we totally ultimately got screwed out of that. I'm getting there, Scott Levesque. But anyway, so we went for 3 months training. Eventually, when the training was done, Steve Ricardo told us he couldn't use us.
Yeah.
We were very upset. We went to a show at the VFW in Fall River of ACW.
Yep.
It was our very first time going there, and we talked to Dave and actually George Robidoux, which is my legit shoot name, which was like one of the bookers or some bullshit at the time, which you can't work to touch me. Anyway, George Robidoux.
That's very true.
The
by
other
way.
George Robidoux, who thinks
George
he's
Robidoux,
George Robidoux,
too,
which
yeah.
is my shoot name. Fuck
Your
him.
twin.
He's not even close to my twin. Sorry, George. But anyway, we went and talked to him, and he was like, yeah, maybe we'll use you guys. We watched a show at the VFW in Fairhaven. We were disgusted, Tony, okay? We were disgusted because we're like, okay, we're the workers, and this asshole don't want to use us. Fuck him. So then I rolled with Carlos V, which is Carlos Vladimir III, which is Aaron Knight, which is whatever the fuck he called himself. Kid Capri. For months on end, I rolled with this kid. Me and Dave did not chill together. Okay, me and Davey Cash did not chill together for months on end. I rolled with Carlos V, which is Kid Capri, Aaron Knight, whatever he calls himself. Told me he gets me bookings, this, that, and the other place. I go, I show up, like drive my fucking Expedition, which is $40 a fucking gallon in gas at the time, and like nonsense, different places, to find out I'm not booked. Okay, I'm like, wow. Okay, Carlos V, you dirty motherfucker. I am not booked. Okay, I understand. Then finally, I hook up with Sean Candido and Kevin Castro, and they're like, what do you think about this ACW in Somerset? I'm like, dude, at this point, I'm not working anywhere. Like, I do not care. I had a short stint with I want to say it's like NECW, which was like Northeast, like, or like it was EECW, which was ran by Johnny Nash.
Yeah.
Which used to wrestle for Yankee like back in the day, which was East Coast Championship Wrestling.
ECCW.
ECCW,
Okay.
exactly. And I ran for them for maybe a year. And Johnny Nash eventually started bringing these guys from New York, which was like guys like Nick Dynamite and a bunch of different guys who he would just put us under to.
Yeah.
Like, we were the guys from New Bedford that he knew, and he's put us under to all these other different guys.
All right, so you're working for the Johnny Nash, and you're not really happy with your position working for
Okay,
him.
it's crazy as the world works, man, okay, and the wrestling world works, but no joke, okay, my first training class ever, and a lot of people might not know this, okay,
I don't.
but was Mike Bennett, okay, and a lot of people don't know this. My legit training class was Mike Bennett, Scott Levesque, I want to say
Dan
Strikes. Okay, we had the Hot Boys, which is AJ and BJ,
Yeah.
which his real name was DJ, but we used to call him BJ and just give him shit all the time, and he used to get so mad.
The
AJ and
BJ stand for blowjob.
Yes, we used to call him Blowjob Hot, and
All
he
right.
used to get so mad.
Just to clear that up.
Albert and Jesse, I love you guys to the death, bro, but we used to fuck with you guys, yes, but that's how the business goes, man. Jesse quit smoking? Yeah, you remember that? Huh? Mike Pava did.
Britney Spears.
No, it was Shania Twain. He did the Shania Twain.
Shania Twain wasn't even around.
All right,
Oh,
Dan
whatever.
Strike. Stop
Dan.
interfering in this
Stop
podcast.
interviewing in my podcast, Dan. Granted, you were there all those years, you asshole. But legit, me and Dan Strikes have known each other for like a decade, which is incredible. Most people wouldn't think that. We've known each other for a decade. Either way. So, yeah, Mike Pava. We did it. It was crazy. Joe Eugenio, every year around Christmas time, would do a Christmas party. And no word of a lie, he would get a hypnotist.
I've been to a few of them Christmas parties, may I add.
No joke. The hypnotist at the parties, my cousin.
Frank Santos?
Oh no, different. Oh, Frank Santos. Holy crap, dude. That was the dirty hypnotist. Oh my god.
I don't know if you remember Michael Conman,
I never seen the Con Man, but I did see Frank the hypnotist.
but all I know is Michael Conman, an old friend of mine, got hypnotized at a Yankee Pro Wrestling birthday.
I totally
party
believe it.
before.
Mac,
And,
just saying.
All right, well, continue. I don't mean to sidetrack my
I
own
can't believe
stories.
that we're 2 hours in and I'm only fucking 15% into this interview. But anyway, we seen Mike Pava do things he probably doesn't even remember, okay? But anyway, let's get back to beyond that, because I'm taking this podcast way too long, and we need to get beyond that. I was listening to the Canadian Kris Evans. Okay, listen, I was
You're
listening
an
to
ACW. You become the Heat Chris Pyro.
Yes, exactly.
The Canadian Kris Evans is over and done with. We don't want to hear about him no more, all right? You're in ACW at this official time. You haven't had your first match. We want to hear about it. Let the people know how this ACW match came about.
Yeah, what was the end? Was the end Jamie or?
It's crazy, man. Okay, like, Steve Ricard had given us all pretty much the El Butte, as I like to call it.
Right out of
He gave
top
he
rope.
did not like Jamie's direction at all. No matter what it was, he did not like Jamie's direction, which is Sean Candido. Jamie had this one direction where we're gonna build guys that like are not big things, and Ricard was like, "Well, we're gonna use guys that are already drawing." And they had this very, like heat between each other without anyone knowing. And like at the time, like Jamie ran Yankee Pro, and Ricard ran South Coast.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I'd say the guys like Brandon Webb, Fantastic Frank, at the time, in the very beginning, worked for South Coast, okay? And guys like me and Davey Cash worked for Yankee. And, like, I don't know what it was. Ricard had, like, maybe this thing against us or whatever the case may be that we didn't work for South Coast. Finally, we had this merger where, like, okay, Yankee's going to get the lightweight division, and South Coast was going to get the women's division. They like finally had an agreement. And I don't know what the hell made this happen, but I finally won the lightweight title against the creeper Brandon Webb, which he may not, accept to that full terms, but that's exactly what he is. Like, he's the creeper, Brandon Webb. And if he gets mad at me, he'll call me. I've known him since we were high school.
He's in my phone as the creeper still to this day.
Man, dude, he's the creeper, okay? And I love him to death. Like, I'll fight for that kid any day of the week because I got him into wrestling, 100% into wrestling. Like, his family, when he took the waiver to his house and wanted to sign it, like, I was the one there, like, I was the one there knocking over glasses, like, hey, sign this kid's waiver. He really wants to wrestle.
Well, hopefully we can.
We'll go back in time a little bit.
Hopefully we can have Brandon Webb on the podcast one day to actually
I can guarantee
confirm
it.
that it was him. He was the creeper. We want to confirm. We want the fans to know. But right back to ACW, you son of a bitch. Tell us about your first match in ACW. The fans are dying to know. They don't want to hear about dirty hypnotists. They want to know, how did Chris Pyro get into ACW, ran by Dave Oliver at the time?
Okay, this is the story. I'm so sorry that I've gotten sidetracked. Like, we literally could
Stop
have
your goddamn apologizing and just tell the goddamn story.
we could have a fucking 10-hour podcast of me, just saying. But anyway, okay, so we got the boot, short but sweet. We got the boot from Yankee Pro Wrestling, me and Davey Cash. And we were like, man, okay, where are we going to work? At the time, we still had ECCW, was run by Johnny Nash, East Coast Championship Wrestling. I still worked with them every month. But at the time, they were bringing guys from New York. So the guys from New York, for some reason, were more important than the guys from New Bedford or wherever where Johnny Nash was trained from. So he would put those guys over on us. Finally, no bullshit. One day I'm sitting at a show and Sean Candido, Kevin Castro, and Dominic Dice Gambini come up to me and like, we're shooting tonight. We are not taking the job to these guys. If you're down, you're down. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. So we all go out there and legitimately shoot on this company, Johnny Nash's company at the time. F you, we are not taking your MS no more, whatever the case it may be. We're out, dude, and we bounce in the main event.
Everybody just leaves.
So shit happened, okay, whatever the case may be. Finally, we get to ACW. It was Scott Levesque. No offense to you, Scott Levesque, but at the time, you were the promoter / booker, story maker.
Right, he was booking the show.
Storyline writer, whatever the case may be.
Yes, I was.
And we came in thinking like, okay, we wrestle for Yankee. Like, these guys should understand we know what we're doing.
Who was you in? Carlos V?
Actually, are in no word of a lie. We showed up to one show in Somerset, and it was me, Kevin Castro, and Sean Candido. That was the 3 people that showed up that night. And that was the night we talked to you and told you, like, we're in, whatever you want, blah, blah, blah.
What'd I say?
You actually were like, oh, wow, okay, like, this is, okay, cool. Like, somebody wants to come work for us. Like, okay. You know, like, I'm not going to lie. Scott Levesque was one of maybe the few people at the time that were, like, 100% to bring us in.
That's only because, I was all about wrestling. As a fan, I watched you and the highlight, wrestle when I was a fan paying for tickets. So I knew about you guys. So Dave said, hey, these former Yankee Pro guys want to come in, talk to them. So I talked to you guys. I knew, like, booking you guys would just, like, build us up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bring us to another level. So I had to bring you guys in.
It's crazy, actually. Like, I really don't want to say it was all us, okay? Like, ACW at the time, like, the first show I went to, it was crazy, man. I was fucking shocked. I was, like, ROH-type shocked because I watched a man get powerbombed from the inside of the ring,
through a
out
table.
of the ring, through a fucking table. I was like, wow, these motherfuckers are crazy. I don't do shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm taking hip tosses. Well, these motherfuckers are getting powerbombed out of the ring. You know, like, okay, they're crazy. Like, okay, we can do something with this. And then finally, like, Jamie was like, okay, well, my ultimate goal, legitimately, from the beginning was, okay, I'm going to take over the book. I was like, okay, well, if you can get that far, like, we can start making this something. Like, we can do something.
Bring some guys in, change some
right,
stuff up.
One of the first guys we brought in, no bullshit. The first 3 people that showed up to an ACW show before it was anything. And I don't say this to shit on it because you guys are doing your own thing. You drew the 30 to 40 people a month. But at the first time we showed up, it was me, Sean Candido, and Kevin Castro. We showed up together 1 month. And it was weird because we rode in different cars and everything. We showed up 1 month together. We talked to the booker at the time, which was Scott Levesque. And we said, listen, we're down, man. We want to be here. We're not getting work anywhere else. Like, we're down. Whatever the fuck you want to do, we're going to do it. That night we watched a man, Bloodstone, which I still wrestle to this day, at Beyond Wrestling, get powerbombed out of the ring to a table.
It wasn't Bloodstone. It was a guy that looked like Bloodstone.
Whatever. Anyway, there's a man similar to Bloodstone that got powered out of the ring by Satanic.
Demon.
Big kid.
The demon. That's not satanic.
Satanic. Shit-tanic. Whatever
his name is.
He got powerbombed out of the ring through a table, and me and Jamie and Sean Candido and Kevin Castro look at each other like, wow, these motherfuckers are crazy. Like, we can get somewhere with this. And like, oh, okay, this needs to happen.
You guys start working for ACW on a regular
right away.
basis,
Like, Jamie starts pushing. No offense to you, Scott Levesque, but Jamie starts pushing. Like, I'm gonna get the booker position because, like, if I do, I know I can turn this into something. I'm not gonna say 6 months down the road we go to New Bedford. We go to New Bedford. Like, legitimately, the first time we go to the
before we jump to New Bedford, I want to actually talk about the match between me and you real quick.
Mack training #1. I did win the interstate title on Tony's behalf.
Yep.
Scott Levesque's behalf. He was the booker at the time.
Now, this was the deal. Like, I was feuding with Scotty Jive.
And it came out of nowhere.
And it was like,
it
he
was
slapped
legitimately
a fan. he went
he
like
hit you with the belt, and then I
he
gave
with
you
a
Death
belt.
Valley Driver.
Right. Yeah, that was the whole ending
Dude,
to our match.
My memory's horrible.
Now,
but I
do you remember
important
earlier in
things.
that night we were upstairs? My favorite part about
Shooting
that
the
building.
bully BS.
My favorite part about that building is the fact that the locker room overlooked like the ring and all that, and we were talking about how we were gonna have the worst match of the night. We were joking around.
We were joking, yes.
Back and
like,
forth,
I
like-
knew I was trained, and I knew, like, you know, you knew kind of some what we were doing. Like, we're gonna have a horrible match.
Yeah, we would go back and forth, and we were just ridiculous about what we were gonna do. And Mack wrestled Ray Rance and Chad Hart, and they had a ridiculous match. And they had that match, and we were like, "Oh, I guess we can't have worst match of the night tonight." Like, and we wrestled each other, and that was probably the first time I wrestled anybody who was more advanced than I was. I guess I would say at the time. You know what I mean? Like, do you have to piss, dude? Yeah, he's gonna run to the bathroom.
I gotta pee.
Run to
Sorry,
the bathroom,
guys.
dude. Run to the bathroom.
Just before you say anything, I believe that I didn't have the worst match of the night with Chad Hart or Ray Ranson or whatever you want to call him, because in that match I gave him a drop kick and his pants went flying off into the audience, which would make it the best match of the night in my opinion.
Yeah, you had a good match with Ray Ranson. But later on, like, train number 1 would defend his title after 8 months of defending that title.
And winning.
Defending his title against GED and defeating him. Eventually, he would, like, lose that belt, the ACW Interstate title that he defended valiantly for 18 months. He would lose it to Kris Pyro. And after he lost to Kris Pyro, my friendship with training number 1 was in question. This guy,
It was over.
this guy would leave me messages, and I was in tears.
I don't even remember that, to tell you the truth, man. Like, it makes me like, you guys put me with GED when I was the Interstate Champion. You put me with Pyro when I was going to lose the belt. Like, why were you slapping with all these Yankee dudes at that time? Like, what was the thought process?
Because you're the best guy.
Nah,
You're
come
number
on,
2,
man. Like,
at least number 2 behind me.
Yeah,
Like, so I trusted you to wrestle Kris Pyro.
you knew I was going to have
and
at least
have
a decent match.
more than decent match,
Right,
And,
and to tell you the truth, like I really enjoyed the match I had with Pyro at that time. Like, it was probably the best match I had to that point. You know what I mean? And you decided, like, oh, it's time for training number 1 to drop the Interstate belt, and
so you could go on to Skyjive and have your feud because
Right.
he would cost you that match.
right.
You know, little did I know that he would slap a fan, a
slap a fan.
a slow fan, by the way,
Oh man.
and he got suspended. So now you're in limbo. You know, but I didn't know
Right,
that.
I was
at the time.
screwed. Like, I was
you're
stuck in the
screwed.
middle.
Yeah.
And what it caused was Pyro to drop the belt, and to win the belt and go on do his own thing. And we pretty much left at that point. Like, we were gone after that night. There was a big blowout between us and the promoter, and Mack like knocked over some ring posts, and it got wild for a while there.
Which is, I don't know how many goddamn times I can say it, which was really unfortunate because I wish I stuck around for the, like, evolving of ACW, because that's really when a lot of the old former Yankee guys started coming into ACW and really, like, upgrading the whole promotion, which Kris Pyro was talking about, and I would love to hear what he has to say about it.
I have way too much to talk about and not enough time spent, okay?
Dude, me losing the whole me losing the belt to you thing is not what like got us to leave. I had no problem. Like literally, you mentioned it before. Like, I would have rather lost the belt to you than to 3/4 to like about 95% of the locker room at that time.
Dude, at that time, we were struggling, and I'm not going to lie.
And again, like right before that, like we had known each other already for a little while,
Right.
so we were cool. Like, I knew,
Like, granted, when I was setting up the ring in my Yankee days, you guys were there all the
right?
time.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
I mean, even
You and
before that,
Mack,
like
you
I
guys
was
were there.
filming and I was helping with the ring crew as a kid, like literally as a 13, 14-year-old kid. So I just want to ask you, Pyro, as a person who got to work with us back then, and again work with us now. Like, Mack Attack has wrestled the Hoods a few times, Whaling City Wrestling Showcase, like a few different places. Like, what do you? Is there a big difference, or like, how do you feel?
okay, Now, I'm so glad you guys have asked me this, actually.
Like, I remember
Because,
back then, you were like, the match was good, man. Like, you gotta get some
Right.
gear. You gotta get some better gear. Like,
Right,
your big
right.
deal, like your big sell to
Right,
me.
like you guys are awesome, man, and I'm not gonna
Thank you, I
bullshit in
appreciate that.
any way, shape, or form. Okay, you guys go out there and you have the crowd like no one else, which is a very difficult thing for anybody in this day. You go to Yankee Pro, you go to Top Rope, whatever the fuck they call it now. You go to the the SPW, which is Showcase Pro Wrestling, which you guys are dominating right now.
Right.
You go to any other company where you guys are actually working, where they give you a chance, and you guys are dominating. Okay? Granted, yes, when you guys first came about as a tag team, me and Dave probably looked at you like, okay, just another tag
Yeah,
team.
look at these guys. Yeah.
Right, they're doing their thing, whatever. We're doing our thing harder. Okay? Now, you guys have come into that role where I'd love to get you guys in a beyond atmosphere.
Dude,
Because
I
I know
appreciate that,
for a
man.
fact you guys in a beyond atmosphere changes the game, man.
Well, just coming from a guy who probably has like I don't want to say what 5 to 10 years experience on me, like, and a guy who's worked for bigger and better promotions than I have. Like, you saying that about us, like, really means a lot to me, and I just want to appreciate that, man. We're just trying to go out there and have a good time and, really get the fans into it. And we do these podcasts to get the information out to the fans and just really just overall have a good time.
And not to cut you off there, Mac, but I know I've strayed off course, and we've gone a couple different ways in this podcast. I'm sorry. You can blame the sponsor at this podcast, and that's Captain Morgan. Although he may not be the legit sponsor.
Not the
you can
official
blame
sponsor,
him.
let that be known.
Yeah, he may not be the official sponsor like Mac, I just told you, but you can blame him. Captain Morgan has loosened me up to where I can say whatever I want to say. And I really hate to have hate on people, but when people have hate on me, it shows me a different angle of people, shows me a different side of people. If you're going to hate on me, I'm going to hate on you, period.
So now we're gonna take it. We're gonna jump forward a little bit. You guys joined as Team Talent. You were in ACW was that Somerset? We moved to New Bedford. You guys moved to New Bedford, and you started drawing bigger crowds, using a lot more of the older names, the Brick Houses, the Portuguese Stallions, the Mike Forsters. You know what I mean? You guys really started picking up with the people from around that area that they hadn't seen in a while, and eventually that turns to ACW moving to New Bedford.
Right.
I'm sorry, not Fairhaven, not New Bedford.
No, it was New Bedford.
Oh, it was,
It
okay.
was
So
New Bedford,
the
I'd say at
skate,
least between 6 to 8 months, I'd say it was New Bedford.
Right.
Yes. The very first show, like, honestly, when Jamie, a.k.a. Sean Candido, came up to me and Davey and the powers that be at the time and said, listen, I have a show at the Soccer Center in New Bedford. We were completely like, okay, now we knew better that Steve Ricard, which was Yankee Pro Wrestling or Top Pro Promotions, hadn't ran there in a couple of years. We knew
New
better.
Bedford had been kind of
It
dry,
was
with pro
dry.
wrestling.
Exactly, Mac. Training number one.
It's okay.
It was dry. So we knew better than to take advantage of it, okay? I've worked for Joe for years now. Okay? Now, we knew better to take advantage of that. We jumped on it in a heartbeat. ACW, the guys who were backyard, so to speak, the guys that weren't trained, wherever the case may be. The first show we ran in the Soccer Center, okay? I know for a fact I was there. I was in the main event. It was me, Fantastic Frank, DJ Crimson, and Kevin Castro against Sean Candido, Brickhouse Baker, Portuguese Stallion, and Mike Straker, okay? I know for a fact how many people were there. We had over 300 people there, which was more than Yankee Pro, South Coast,
Pretty
whatever the
much
case.
anybody was drawing at that time.
At the time was drawing, and we were completely shocked that we had more people. I was one of the guys that walked up to Jamie, which is Sean Candido, the booker at the time for ACW, and was like, wow, did you look out there and see how many people we had? Boom, he looked out there. That place was packed. Okay, granted, I'm not trying to talk shit, because I would work for Top Promotions today, okay? It's all about money, okay? Like, I'm getting a little older. I've been doing this for 10-plus years.
Been doing it for a minute.
Dude, like, my body hurts, man. Like, people talk shit and like, oh, you're young. Yeah, I am young, but I've been doing this since I was 15. My body hurts, man. If you're not coming with me the right number, or you're not coming with me with something that entertains me, or like, oh wow, that's a good idea, I'm not doing it, man. Like at the time, like that was a big thing. We were filling Fairhaven, and I was like, wow, man. We were filling New Bedford. I'm sorry, Fairhaven. We were filling New Bedford, and I was like, wow, man. 310 people were drawn on our first show. Let's do it. I did a last man standing match with Sean Candido. That was the very last match ever for ACW in Fairhaven. I mean, I'm sorry, in New Bedford.
Yep.
In New Bedford. At the Soccer Center on Nash Road. That was the very last match. I went through 2 doors with thumbtacks and juiced everywhere. Whatever the case might be, just to keep the people there. Okay, that was the end of our run in Fairhaven. I'm sorry, New Bedford. It was the end of our run in New Bedford. Went to Fairhaven. We drew well in Fairhaven, I'd say maybe the first 10 times.
And that was all Alliance Championship
That
Wrestling.
was all ACW. I don't care what
And
anybody
eventually,
says.
ACW turns over to Whaling City Wrestling. There's a big turnover between Dave Oliveira, who's a promoter of ACW at the time, to his booker, Sean Candido, became a promoter and started running his own shows.
Mack, trainee number 1, I'm glad you have so much info because you're completely right. If I was to do this podcast, we'd probably be here for 13 plus hours. But
That's a long-ass podcast, dude.
considering you're right, I'm sorry I'm rambling. There's so much
no
info.
worries, my friend.
You are completely right. From Sean Candido, we went from Dave Oliver, who took 100% complete role in ACW, which is Alliance Championship Wrestling at the time. See, Sean Candido, which was Jamie, Dave seen that we were starting to build our crowd, and he thought to himself, like, if I don't capitalize on this, I'm gonna miss out.
Yeah.
So Dave took on the pole of Roner. Roner, you know, he owned the business. You know what I mean? He owned everything. Okay, it was Dave's ring. It was Dave's shows. Me and Dave were in his head, like, we should do this, we should do that. Same thing with Sean Candido, like, this is the angles we should run. For a good 2 years, it was me and Dave against No BS, John Monroe, which was at the time H-Dog McGraw, which was like a gangster, because we did the Team Talent thing, and Vinny Nero. The whole Team Talent was me, Davey Cash, H-Dog McGraw, and Vinny Nero, and who was the fifth member? And Fantastic Frank, which that mofo, you can comprehend wrestling,
cannot
okay?
forget
He does
Frank.
what he wants, when he wants, how he wants. If you don't like it, he's bouncing, period. He quits when he wants. He has a kid, he's out. Anyway, so it was just me and Dave trying to push the angle as far as we could, okay? Eventually, it turned into me and Dave against Vinny Nero, H-John McGraw. We did this whole angle for about a year where we were Team Talent against Team Talent. Eventually, me and Dave beat Vinny Nero and H-Dog McGraw in a one-on-one. I wrestled Vinny Nero. Dave wrestled H-John McGraw. We beat each other. Then H-John McGraw and Vinny Nero went to a double contest, which didn't count.
Yep.
And then it came all down to me and Vinny Nero, which is now Vinny Marcellia, wrestling each other in one-on-one. Whoever won, the stable would break up with their compadres. You know.
So
whatever.
it'd either be Team Talent breaking up or Vinny Marcellia's
Exactly,
team
Mack.
breaking up. Okay.
Exactly, Mack. Training number 1. It would be Talent breaks up or Vinny Nero and H-Dog McGraw break up. Like, I swear to my life, okay, that match that we had that night, where me and Vinny Nero stepped into that squared circle, man, 16 by 16, I swear, I'll pull the DVD up for anyone. And the pop, at the end of that match, he hit me with 2 RKOs, okay? Hit me with the first one, I kicked out.
Yep.
And with the second one, he pulled my head up, okay, like a cocky pin. The third one, he went for the fucking RKO. I countered into a sunset flip. When them people popped, when I pinned him, I swear on everything I love, okay, and to my daughter, she's 4 years old, okay, everything I love, that fucking pop was so insane. I have it till this DVD, till this day. Anybody can hate and talk shit all they want to. I have the DVD. Come test me, okay?
That's one of the moments of ACW that
I have
really stands out to you.
DVD, bitch, okay?
Yeah, so I was saying, I just wish I was around so I can learn from you guys. Because when I came it took us a little while, and when we finally came back, it was WCW at the time, and that's when we actually like started working with you guys and learning from the experienced guys. I just wish that I could change all that and stay in ACW from the beginning, but unfortunately it didn't work that way. But the fans want to know about ACW, Whaling City Wrestling. It all changed over. We're starting fresh. They didn't want that old ACW stigma. We wanted to change the name. We wanted to let the fans know that we got hot wrestling action for you. And Kris Pyro, where do you find yourself in ACW?
It's ironic,
WCW.
actually. It's ironic. It wasn't WCW yet, okay? It was still ACW, okay? Very much so ACW. And I honestly think the first show I ever went to, I do not remember Homeboy's name, okay? But it was Satanic. Whoever that big-ass kid was, I forget his name. He was something, but he powerbombed the demon, brother. The demon, brother. You're 100% right. And he powerbombed Homeboy that looked like Bloodstone. I don't know what this nigga's name was, okay? JC motherfucking Rhodes, okay? He powerbombed Homeboy out of the ring from the top rope. Like, we were thinking this was ECW shit, me and Candido and Castro. We see Homeboy get powerbombed out of the ring instantly. We're impressed. We're like, okay, this is where we need to be. If motherfuckers are powerbombing each other out of the ring, like, okay, this is gonna fucking promote this. David Cash is cutting my heat, and I don't like it. But anyway, so I seen JC Rhodes get powerbombed out of the ring by the Demon, and I was instantly hooked. Me, Kevin Castro, Sean Candido. I'm sorry. If
we are jumping way back, dude.
I have so much fucking information I could go for 6 hours.
You were the ACW champion.
I won the ACW Interstate Championship.
No, you won the world title.
No, it was before. Who was that?
So you won the Interstate Championship for me.
Shall
Eventually, you moved on and you won.
Kidding me.
Oh, hold on.
Ooh, doggy. Let me fill you guys in.
I would just like to thank.
I love Monster Mack Trainee. I love you, and I love.
Well, thank you, but I just wanted to.
You guys are my boys to the death. Don't let me catch us up because I feel like I'm talking too much, and let me catch us up.
Well,
we have Scott Levesque, Dan Strikes, David Cash in the motherfucking house. Let me finish this up. Okay, anyway, I wrestled for ACW for a good year. Easy. Finally, I have my championship match against Monster Mack, trainee number 1, which is my man sitting to the left-hand side of me, okay? We actually call a match, which is very uncharacteristic, like, of me, because I was like, ACW, wipe my ass with it. So we call a match. We actually work. I do go over, which is jargon for bad guy wins, okay? Bad guy wins and is the new ACW champion, okay? I go for maybe, I'd say, 8 months as ACW Interstate Champion, okay? Monster Mack and Training Number 1 had left the company at this point, okay? They were officially done with Dave Oliveira's bullshit, okay? Which is jargon for fuck Dave Oliveira. But anyway, they were done with his bullshit. So was Scott Levesque, a.k.a. / half 30 quad booker for the promotion. He was done with Dave Oliveira's bullshit as everyone. And he was still there, but he was just done with Dave Oliveira's bullshit. I don't care what he says. I was there, okay? Dave thought he was WWE fucking Vince McMahon. Either way, didn't happen, okay? I won the Interstate title. BS comes down the road. Jamie, which is Sean Candido of WCW, takes over the booking rights of WCW, which was ACW at the time. We moved to Fairhaven, which actually we moved to New Bedford, which is a soccer center in New Bedford. We draw our very first show, 300 people. I'm in the main event. Then we move along, okay, because I've been taking way too long. We move along.
Just to backtrack a little bit, I believe you were the
sorry.
ACW Heavyweight Champion.
Unbelievably.
While you were
I'm
in this state
5'6",
champion,
okay, people? I'm 5'6". I've never worked out a fucking day in my life. Okay.
So don't bullshit me. I know.
Okay,
I know you're hitting the
months
gym.
in my
Okay.
fucking life. Okay.
I know you've been hitting the gym.
I've went out with David Cash 2 months in my entire wrestling career. Okay.
All right, let's just cut it right here, just to let the
Cut to the
fans
chase.
know you're interstate
so I win
champion.
the Interstate Championship off of Monster Mack Trainee
Damn,
number 1
goddamn, you're
in Somerset.
backtracking again.
Then I finally win a 16-man tournament, which
There
is
you
Sean
go.
Candido.
That's what the
tells
people wanna
me
know.
Somehow, I'm going to be the winner of this tournament. I look at him. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But he tells me, you're going to be the winner of this tournament. And you're going to be the ACW heavyweight
right.
champion. I'm like, you're kidding. But fuck it. I'll do it. Whatever. Put myself over, okay?
So
I win this 16-man, one-night
That's
tournament.
a lot of men.
16 motherfuckers. One of them was Eric Dillon, so don't count. But I love you, Eric.
15
But
and a
anyway,
half.
We win this 15-man tournament. I actually beat Eric Dillon with a chair that night. Pin his ass. Finally go on to wrestle Candido because he had to put himself in the main event. Jamie, I love you. Don't fucking hate on me.
Don't
I love
hate.
you, guys.
All right.
So finally, he puts himself in the main event. Me and Jamie wrestle each other, and he put himself in the main event because he was over at the time, which is true. He put himself in the main event. We wrestle each other. I go over somehow, gimmick finish, and then it's me, this fucking guy, Davey Cash, H-Dog McGraw, DJ Crimson, and Fantastic Frank, and we're Team Talent. Like, I'm the heavyweight champion and interstate champion in one night. We go on to the next night, which is the next month after. I actually lose the interstate title.
Oh, so you weren't the last ACW championship champion ever?
As unfortunate as it is, Monster Mack and training number one, no, I am not.
That's why I brought it up. That's all I wanted to
It's
know.
okay, buddy.
Who was the last ACW champion?
The last ACW champion, no BS, okay, was sensational. Scott Levesque.
Oh, superstar Scott Levesque, as you know him then.
No. Sensational. Scott Levesque. Man can work his ass off.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
The fans finally know who the last ACW champion was. We're going to skip forward with no skipping back. WCW, let's go.
Okay, to make a really long story short, okay, I come from New Bedford, which we were drawing, I'm going to be honest, 300 to maybe 200, 150 people each month for 6 months.
Right.
Finally, the last match in New Bedford was me and Sean Candido, last man standing. We did thumbtacks, juicing, the whole nine, garbage and garbage. It all happens. We bleed everywhere. I don't get paid. I was just doing what I did because I was trying to entertain people. We end there. We go to Fairhaven. The very first main event in Fairhaven is me versus Sean Candido for the vacant heavyweight title. Okay, Davey Cash comes out. This is the first alignment of the hoods ever. Okay, Davey Cash comes out, hits a top rope leg drop on Sean Candido. I pin him 1, 2, 3. It's me, Davey Cash, DJ Crimson, H-Dog McGraw, and Fantastic Frank. We're the fucking Team Talent.
Yeah.
Okay, we go on for maybe 6 months. I'm so sorry it takes so long, guys. Okay, please listen. If you don't listen, I won't have any fans. Okay, I just have a story among stories. I'm sorry I've been doing this.
This might have to be a two-parter.
Anyway, we go from I'm trying to jump fucking spots because Davey Cash is here. I got people
The only
texting
problem
me.
is you told some of these stories like 4 times already. So
I've been
I
sipping
just
the old.
I want to thank the Mack Cast editor on this one. He's not going to be happy when it's all said and done.
Trust me, you guys are my friends. I'm happy. It don't matter. But anyway,
Georgie, your ACW champion.
He's
ACW
called me
champion,
George too.
a former interstate champion. While you're in ACW, working your ass off as ACW champion, you get the call for NECW. Tell us about that.
I'm gonna have to say I love you for that. But anyway, I'm not gonna lie. Sheldon Goldberg, Matt Storm, Kyle Storm, all those guys eventually did get a hold of me. Me and Dave were tagging at the time, but I don't think the hoods were getting the publicity they actually deserved. People did contact me, and they're like, okay, listen, you know, Rich Bastarash, which is a legit shoot name. He is one of the promoters in PWF Northeast, which is legitimately a straight good friend of mine. Like, GPA, SAT, GED, all those guys on the score, like, dude, we rolled together for years, man. Like, if people talk shit about them, I would defend them. Like, we rolled together for years, man. And finally, you know, GPA, we were talking, me and Dave started tagging. Finally, like, NECW came up to me, which Rich Bastarash had his hand in there. He was dipping his finger in the pot. And he was
NECW,
like,
that's run by Sheldon Goldberg.
I'm talking about Sheldon Goldberg, yeah. And I was going to say this was 2000, 2004, 2005, somewhere around that area where Sheldon Goldberg was like, listen, we want you. I did one show. I did one show. It was the Toxic Waltz. I want to say it was like 2007, 8, maybe even 9, where I wrestled BMT, Brendan Michael Thomas. Homeboy called his own finish, okay? A lot of people talk smack about this, and it really boils my buttons. Homeboy called his own finish. I want to do a 450 splash for my finish. I said, okay, you set me up where you want me, okay? Because I don't want to fuck up your finish. You hit whatever you want. I took a, if most Japanese fans know, a Saito suplex right before this Japanese 450, okay? This motherfucker gives me a Saito suplex. If you hit me with a Saito suplex, I'm dead. I'm not moving, man.
Right, you're just out.
I just took a Saito suplex at the end of the match on my neck. I'm not moving. I lay there. I look up. I watch Homeboy climb to the top rope. I watch him start rotating. All of a sudden, I'm like, uh-oh. He's not rotating fast enough. And his knee, one of his knees catches me in the chest, and his foot steps me in the throat.
Man.
In the throat. Okay? He goes on to pin me, which he cries like a fucking bitch afterwards. Okay? He hits the move. Bang, his elbow pops completely out of place. Okay? And he's crying while his fucking girlfriend in the corner is like, stop being a bitch. Roll over and fucking pin him. I'm like, wow, his girlfriend's calling him a bitch. He rolls over and pins me. 1, 2, 3. Okay? He cannot go on for the rest of the night, which was supposed to have the Toxic Waltz that night. This honestly is what saved my career in NCW. We still have the Toxic Waltz that night. Matt Storm, Kyle Storm, pulled me aside like, can you go and do the Toxic Waltz? I said, I'll do anything you want. We go on. I wrestle Brandon Locke. Okay? One of my favorite opponents of all fucking time is Brandon Locke. I can go in there with that man. He will let me do whatever I want. He will let me look like the fucking star I should be and then cut me down at the end. I wrestled Brandon Locke for 6 months, bro. Wrestled at the Iron 8 in 2008, 2009. One of those years. Where's that awesome match? Harley fucking Race, okay? Harley Race, 7-time world NWA fucking heavyweight champion.
I'm not sure that number is accurate.
I promise
is
you.
Is it 7? All right.
7,
I believe
okay?
you. Is it 7?
I promise you on my kid's death right now. 7-time champion Harley Race pulls me and Brandon Locke aside. Walks aside and said, yo. Seriously? You might have said, yo. Obviously, it's Harley.
Yeah, I don't think he said yo.
But he's like, guys, literally, that's the best babyface versus babyface match I've seen in years. He's like, I can't believe you guys did what you did. And honestly, my dick grew 19 inches that day. I was like, are you kidding me? Harley Race, 7-time NWA world heavyweight fucking champion is telling me that I had the best match of the opening round. I am fucking ecstatic. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I don't care what anybody says to me. I can be drunk right now. Do whatever you want to say. This is the truth, bro. You can ask Brandon fucking Locke. He pulled me aside and said, we should go ask Harley how our match was. I was like, you know what, Brandon? You're right. We went right up to fucking Harley Race, and he told us exactly how our match was. And you know what? I was like, wow. Harley Race just said we had a good babyface versus babyface match. Harley fucking Race. 7-time world NWA heavyweight champion, okay? I don't care what anybody says about me, bro. They can say I can go out there and have no psychology. You know what? You're fucking selling from a clothesline. I'm Superman, motherfucker. I'm going out there and I'm taking Death Valley drivers and kicking out. Get on my level, okay? You ain't got psychology like I got psychology, okay? I'm sorry. I really don't hate on anyone. But I'm so sick of people talking shit about me, bro. It's done. Harley Race said we had match of the night at NECW 2009 Iron 8, bro. That's fucking made my dick so hard I could never get it down.
Still hot right now.
Legitimately. Okay? Like, I don't even know what people hate on me, and I know this podcast has been gone so long.
Dude.
I'm still on, like, the beginning. But put it this way. From me and Harley Race wrestling, or from me and Brandon Locke wrestling in front of Harley Race, I went from that night 3 months later in August, okay, wrestling the superstar Ryan Matthews and winning the NECW television title, which I never thought in a million years would ever come my way, okay, ever. I thought I was just another wrestler. I was just another Joe Eugenio guy. I just did what I did. Okay? When they came up to me and like, we're going to put the strap on you tonight, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I never even thought one day I would wrestle for NECW, let alone win their television title. And then from that TV title reign, I was supposed to hold it for a month.
Right.
I was supposed to hold it for a month at Birthday Bash 8 and let Ryan Matthews win the title the very next month. He ended up going to hiatus, okay? I don't know what happened. I don't know what the case was, but he bounced. I ended up keeping the NECW television title for a year. For a year straight and beating everybody that stepped in my way.
And you eventually took the NECW title over to when it turned over to PWF, actually, right?
Right.
No,
what happened was the
Lex saying no
NECW
over here.
TV title turned into the NECW tag team titles. And I had on, I want to say it was September 25th, 2010. Okay? September
It's a good
25th,
memory, dude.
2010, when me and Davey Cash, no bullshit, won the NECW tag team titles in front of, I want to say, almost 200 people in Worcester, Massachusetts as the Team Fox benefit. And to me, and this cat sitting right here, bro, see, that was an accomplishment that we never thought in a million years would ever happen. Ever happen. And we won the NECW tag team titles the same night as I held the NECW television title. And I was like, wow, okay, we're doing it if I have two titles.
Now
we're doing it.
That was kind of the resurgence of the Hoods, right? At the
Right.
time. You guys
Exactly,
working
like,
together all the
that
time.
was like our breath of fresh air.
Right.
That was like our second breath into like, okay, ain't nobody touching us now, kid. We're gonna do what we want to do, and like we won the tag titles and no BS. We held those things for over a year, man. Over a year. Every challenger, whether it was booked or not, whether it was scripted or not, came our way, and we turned them down for over a year until NECW went under wraps and PWF Northeast came back above the ground. Okay, NECW went under wraps. PWF Northeast came back above ground. And me and Davey still, for over a year, defended the PWF Northeast tag team titles. We are the longest reigning in history PWF Northeast tag team champions. People can hate, people can love, people can blender, people can throw us in the grinder for all I want. You cannot touch us, bro.
Now,
You cannot touch.
after you guys, you came back as the Hoods. You started working in more places. You're working, like you said, NECW. You're going up to Maine. You're working for NWA New England. Not NWA New England. NWA On Fire. You guys are working with a lot of people. You hear a lot about the Hoods versus the Minutemen, the Hoods versus the Minutemen. You guys kind of brought them along. How do you feel about that? What do you say to the people that say, like, the Hoods put the Minutemen on the map, or the Minutemen would be in, you know what I mean, kind of like back and forth kind of thing?
I'm not gonna lie. Like we were doing our thing, okay? And we were doing our thing strong. And when we took on, and this is what I call them, okay? A lot of people don't take it this way, but this is my boys, bro, okay? My right-hand men,
Right.
okay? Tone and Blaze. Terrific Tommy and Delicious Devin, okay?
Right.
We travel 97% of the time with those two dudes in the same car to the same show. As much as people don't believe it, as much as people think we hate each other, we go to that show willing and thriving to put on the best performance. We want to go there with the four of us and turn people's eyes and make them think, oh my God, these guys go out there and they bust 110% every single time. How can we match that? And that's legitimately how we go. Like, we go, the four of us, to the show. Like, we get together before our match and we think TSO, which is Team Smoked Out, bro. Okay? Team Smoked Out. Okay? There's a lot
Hilarious,
of people
dude. That's all I'm
there's a
saying.
lot of people that go to the shows and think they can do what we do. But I'm telling you right now, when the four of us get in the ring, bro, you ain't touching us. You ain't coming close. Okay, I really hate to say it like this, man. I really do, because a lot of people think like, oh, he's an egotistical motherfucker. No, I've been working, bro. I've been working for 10 fucking years, man. Get on my level. Come into the ring and do what I do. Do what D does. Do what the Minutemen do, bro. Please try, because I promise you, I promise you on everything I love, on my daughter who just turned 3 years old, you ain't fucking touching shit that we do. Because I am on a totally different level. I'm on a totally different mind frame. And there's nothing you can do that matches anything we do in the ring. Like Beyond, like June 14th, when we step into the Bridgewater Elks, when we go into that place, bro, it's time for war. It ain't wrestling no more.
All right, Kris Pyro. The fans have been having a wonderful experience listening to all your awesome info. I just we're going to be wrapping up somewhat soon. You've been wrestling for WCW as well, the last place we left off. I know you also branch off a little bit and you like to wrestle for different promotions. I would like to just get your opinion on some of the different promotions that you wrestle for, like the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, RWA, known to many of the fans. What's your basic information about them, and what do you think about their promotion?
Well, Mac, I have to be completely 100% honest. And, like, a lot of people look at the RWA, which is the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, like they look at that, the Yankee Pro Wrestling, which is like, okay, Sean Candido took over Yankee Pro Wrestling. It's kind of like a up-and-coming Fed.
Right.
Okay, granted, they do that, but at the same time, RWA, they push, they know, okay? Like, I hate to drop names, okay? But T Phoenix, okay? I love T Phoenix.
I think he's going to be a future podcast guest, too. I think that'll be a really good one.
I love T Phoenix to death, okay? Like, I didn't think I was going to get along with him at all, to be honest. In the beginning.
Right, yeah.
Like, okay, I was like, okay. I went up to him at Legacy 5, which just happened last year in July. I went up to him and Hack Hansen, which I call Jimmy, okay? A lot of people don't call him Jimmy. I call him Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's fucking Hack Hansen. He's my dog, okay? I went up to both of them and I was like, okay, guys, I watched the show. You guys work your asses off. So what's it going to take for Kris Pyro to be in the RWA? And they both look at me like I had 9 heads. Like, are you serious? Dude, I'm 100% serious. What's it going to take? Finally, like, well, be at the next show. Okay. I showed up, and I wrestled Mike Grassa at Tickers. Okay? And I wrestled Mike Grassa for 10 minutes. That changed my whole mind about everything. I wrestled Mike Grassa that one time. Mike Grassa is a green-ass kid. Green is the fucking grass you see outside. I gave him a little bit of push. I gave him a little bit of
Give an
info
opportunity,
of how
basically.
I like my matches to be, and I swear, man, that kid's come tenfold. I just wrestled him at WCW in the main event after he won a battle royal and he got his heavyweight title shot. I swear I wrestled this kid at WCW. He's a completely 195% different wrestler. He's insane. He thinks I want the crowd to react to everything I do, and that's the way I think, and I kind of feel like I've put that on him.
Right. So, you guys have wrestled, like you said, RWA, you're all about it. You're having fun. You're doing a good time. You're going to Beyond. You're working with Whaling City Wrestling. You're the current heavyweight champion, right? His shrugging his shoulders. Current heavyweight champion. What is next for Kris Pyro?
Man, honestly, with the lifestyle I've been living lately, like, I really hope that this, I've seen Beyond Wrestling really pop off for guys like Air Fox,
Right.
Black Baron, Charade, guys that can do, like, really unbelievable things. I really feel like me and David, we step in that ring, we bring a whole different element.
Yeah.
To like, it's crazy, and a lot of people may say something about this, but, like, yo, we hit people. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. We go in that ring, and we want to make wrestling look as serious as it can possibly look. Like, a lot of people look at us like, maybe you're stiff. I'm not stiff. I want wrestling to look real. If I hit you, and the fucking 10 people in the crowd are like, oh, man, dude, he just fucking jocked him in the jaw.
Yeah.
I'm gassed. I don't care. If you think it's real, that's where it's at. Me and D, like, we're taking over the whole Beyond Wrestling tag team scene. Like, we're sick of, like, taking the back seat to all these other teams. The Minutemen, EYFBO. Like we got to match them in June 14th. And it's called Dogfight.
This is
okay?
BeyondWrestling.com. I'm sure you can. Or
this is
YouTube.com/BeyondWrestling. You can find all these videos.
YouTube.com/Beyond Wrestling, or look my no fans.
That's what the website is. Okay, yep.
Okay, me and Davey Cash, we're going into Beyond Wrestling Americana. We're looking at hurting people, okay? Because I know those Beyond fans, they pop for as much as we do, as much as we hit people, okay? Like, I don't care what anybody says. People look at us and like, yeah, okay, you guys, Pyro, you're small. You don't hit people. I hit people, okay? Dan Strikes will attest. He trained with me day after day with Rick Fuller, Tim Towers, guys like that were coming to our training and beating the ever-loving piss out of us. Now we go in the ring, we exchange that. You're not beating the piss out of me no more. I'm a grown fucking man. I'm beating the piss out of you. And if you can't take it, get the fuck out of my business and don't ever come back. Because I will beat the piss out of you continuously. Ever and ever again. Beyond Wrestling, the H to the double O DZ, we're coming.
That
we're
means
coming
the hoods,
hard.
bro. You
That's
white
the
people
hoods.
out there.
The H to double O DZ. We're coming. We're coming so hard that the money train can't stop us. We're coming so hard that Minutemen can't stop us. We're coming so hard that EYFBO, the Funky Bunch, better get ready. Because when it's time for the HOODZ to lay down the claim that we claim, we are Indie Pro Wrestling's hardest hitting tag team, period.
Not even the Funky Bunch can be ready for that.
The Funky Bunch better get so funky, they make me and D dance to the funky monkey. Because if they don't, they're getting hit so hard, their heads will spin, their eyes will spin. They won't know what country they're in. They won't know what city they're in. Because the HOODZ don't play games. We come for names. We're laying people out, and we're taking wins, period.
All right, Kris Pyro, just to top it all off, I got one last question for you. And that's for all the newcomers looking to get into the wrestling business. What kind of advice do you have for them?
Okay, Mack. Wants Mack training number one. I totally understand, okay? If you're coming into the wrestling business, okay, especially the way me, D, Dan Strikes, Scott Levesque, the Macks, we've all come into the wrestling business, okay? It was never the easy way, okay? The easy way, and this is my honest opinion, okay? The easy way is the bitch way. Okay? The easy way is the fucking bitch way. Okay? Oh, I'll do whatever you want. Please put me on a show. No. Okay? Me, Davey Cash, the Monster Max, trainee number one, and Mack. Okay? Dan Strikes. Okay? Scott Levesque. We all came in the hard way. Okay? The fucking hard way. You want to be respected? Come in the hard way. Okay? You want to be respected, you go to your training after training after training after training, and you guys got like Big Rick Fuller, Tim Thomas, all these guys beating the ever-loving piss out of you. And I'm 15 years old, 145, 150 pounds, 5'6", getting the ever-loving piss beat out of me every fucking Tuesday and Thursday that I went there. And I never left. Okay? That's the love you have for pro wrestling. That's the love you show for pro wrestling. That's the love that you just worth your worth to anyone. You want to get booked? Show how much you love it. I don't care if you're getting jobbed out to fucking Joe Hobo Joe. I don't care if you're fucking being over on Bret fucking Hart. I don't care who you are. Go there and just show how much you love it. If you show promoters, if you show people how much you love pro wrestling, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, if you're working hard, those people will acknowledge. Those people will recognize how hard you're working. They will come back and see you.
Yep.
I can attest for these two guys sitting on the left of me right now that the Mack Attack went from ground 0 to ground 9, bro, okay? And they're doing things. They go to each Showcase Pro Wrestling match that they have on, whether it's in Taunton, Woonsocket, anywhere they go, and they are over. Like Rover. You know why? Because they go out there and they give it 190% every time. I've known these guys since I was a little kid. Okay? I've known Davey Cash since I was a little kid. I've known Dan Strikes since I was 15 years old. Okay? And no matter what, we go out there, no matter what it is, no matter what time it is, no matter if there's fucking 10 people there, we give 150%, no matter who's there, no matter what time it is, no matter what promoter it is, and that's what keeps us on top of a fucking game. I don't care what anybody says. We go out there, these two guys sitting to the left of me, the Macks, they're the Showcase for Wrestling Tag Team Champions. You know why? Because they go out there, they do what they have to do.
Soon,
Fuck
hopefully.
Nick Knight and Mark Damon, okay? Fuck Nick Knight and Mark Damon, okay? Them guys go out there and they do what they have to do to get over. That's bullshit. okay? I don't care if they come up to me tomorrow and tell me this bullshit. I go out there, whether it's WCW, fucking NECW, fucking ACW, fucking RWA. I go out there, whether it's a 6-man tag, a singles match, whether it's anything I have to do, and I put 195%. And I know each and every one of you do the same thing. You're the Mack, you're the Attack, and that's all that fucking matters, okay? Dan Strikes, Davey Cash, Scott Levesque, the Mack Attack, everybody that's sitting here in witness with me right now will know I'm staying on my feet. This might be the end of the Mackcast, but I'm standing on my feet telling them exactly what I feel. If you don't like
really
it,
is standing too.
Suck my fucking dick,
Oh,
okay?
jeez.
If you don't like it, hate what you want to hate. But I guarantee you, on every level that I fucking step in that ring on, you will not surpass me. Because I go out there. I work so hard, your mind boggles. I work so hard, your kids watch. I work so hard, your girlfriend wants to sleep with me at night. And if you don't fucking like it, and if you don't like it, hate on me. Please hate on me. Because I promise, no matter what happens, I will be the most entertaining match you've ever seen. And if you don't like it, hate on me. Please hate on me. It makes my smile at night.
We prefer to use the word penis when
Penis!
talking about a man's genitals. But you heard it here, right now. You just listened to it on the Mackcast. That was Kris Pyro, all
KP.
fired up. He should have did a few less Jack Daniels shots, in my personal opinion. But it's okay, because we'll bring him and his tag team partner back
Road stories.
on the Mackcast for some awesome road stories.
You don't want the road stories.
No, we don't. No, actually, we do. We do want the road stories. But as always, I'm Monster Mac. Signing
Trainee number
off.
one.
Oh, well, let Trainee do his own sign off. Thank you very much.
I am Trainee number 1.
I just
We're
love
here
you guys
with
too
Scott
much.
Levesque, Dan Strikes, Davey Cash, and of course,
KP, Kris Pyro, the WCW / heavyweight champion / I hate wrestling heavyweight champion / I will wrestle till I can't wrestle no more. That's all I got is heavyweight champion. So.
and you're listening to the Mackcast. You're on the Mackcast.com or MonsterMac.net. And if you want to find out,
MonsterMac.net,
if you want to find out
shit.
more about the hoods, gutthehoodunlock.com.
Woo?
Check it out anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Trainee number 1.
Monster
Everybody,
Mac.
have a good night. Man, this
And
has
if you
been
don't have a
raised.
good night, you should definitely have a good night because H-O-O-D-Z was on the Mackcast. Peace.
I love this, man. This is great. Thank you again, man. We had a great time. Everybody,
Good
man,
night.
I'm listening to this twice tomorrow. Everybody, have a good night.